Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we spill the tea, the whole tea, and nothing but the tea. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. I was trying to just down the show, but all these topics came out. I'm like, God damn, we got about 14 topics we gonna handle. So we got to talk about these X-Men reboot rumors. I told you I was gonna look into it yesterday. I got the tea today. So we're gonna get into that. Plus, there's a rumor circulating that Scarlett Johansson is playing a character that a lot of us didn't think she was gonna be playing. I know they said it was Gilda Dent. It looked like she might be playing somebody else, a familiar character that has been played in the DCU before, played by a well-known actress. I'll give you all a hint. She was in Kill Bill. So we will get to that. I mean, it could be Uma, it could be Vivica, because they both was in a Batman movie. So um we'll get to that topic when we get to that topic. Also, we got to talk about Broadway is in a damn crisis because apparently the Jellicle Ball is closing next month, even though it's been doing fairly well with the Tonys. People are buying tickets. It's a success in its own right. And Broadway's still closing successful shows. So what is going on? Andrew Lloyd Webber is weighing in. So we got that. Plus, we got to my Armie Hammer trying to backpedal because of the backlash from Citizen Vigilante, talking about he didn't know what movie he signed up for when he did the movie. And Whoopi Goldberg out here defending him because she's been in a situation where she had stepped in poo, whatever it is. Girl, you wasn't out here talking about you was eating the motherfuckers you was fucking. So, damn, I was trying not to curse 2 minutes into the show, but we'll get to all of that. But speaking of The View, Sunny Hostin is actually acting as her son Gabriel's lawyer because apparently he was caught. He was given a citation for trespassing from the MTA. So I have that story. Plus, Rosie O'Donnell is, I guess we can call her not only a comedian but a soothsayer because she got a prediction on when she thinks Trump is not going to be in the union no more. Because we lost Lady G. We allegedly lost another queen, Mitch McConnell, but they ain't telling us whether or not he's alive or dead. And now she talking about that she don't think Trump gonna last long, but that's been in the tea leaves for a minute. So she not the only one that's saying this because I've been hearing some rumblings too. So we got that. Plus, speaking of other shenanigans, Tyler Perry basically says that Mario Lopez is trying to use his sexuality questions as a shakedown or to embarrass him. And he said he not ashamed of who he be out here who he be out here hunching. So does that mean you about to come out the closet, sir? So we got that. Plus, we got, speaking of sexuality rumors, Stefon Diggs said that his SA accuser, Chris Griffith, is a liar and is demanding that he post them text message receipts that he says that he has. Then Cardi B decided to jump in the conversation and Chris clapped back at her. So we got that tea. Plus, speaking of clapping back, Porsha and Shamea are going through it. I don't know what is going on with these girls, but they started bringing it became a whole yo mama situation. Did your mama sleeping with this one and Shamea mama slept with this person? And it's a whole mess. The Housewives of Atlanta, y'all just carrying for no damn reason. And it's unfortunate that a friendship had to just go this route for all of this other stuff. Plus, we got to talk about Milania Giudice. They said that she punched somebody in the face during the wild brawl that led to her arrest with the initials LG. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, nor do I claim to be, but LG sound like Louis Ruelas to me. I mean, wait, they said LG or LR? I think it was LR. I was like, Louis Ruelas? Is that who she was up in there hitting? They didn't say who it was, but they said it was the initials. So we got that. Plus, Brad Pitt's kids want us to all know because they decided to take out a damn front page note or newspaper thing over the fact that we don't want to be Brad Pitt's child anymore. So they just removed Pitt from the name. You could have just took it off from the course instead of taking out a whole page in the newspaper. So we got that. Plus Hudson Williams out here carrying because y'all out here stalking him when he's trying to just go about his day. And speaking of friendships that have just truly gone south, we got more drama transpiring between Silky Nutmeg Ganache and Akira C. Davenport, because Mistress Isabel Brooks decided to assert herself into the mess. So now they all going at it on social media. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got a leftover from yesterday. LGBTQ inclusion in films are at a 3-year low, according to GLAAD. So we have that. I was going to say a whole lot more, but that is a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification, all that good stuff, and hype the channel. You know what y'all got to do. Please and thank you. Now let me hit this thingamajig and put y'all comments up in here already. Girl, you tried it with that damn Taco Tuesday mess, especially with all that foolishness going on where people getting the shits from eating Taco Bell. Not where Chris at. You tried it to my the Daddy Butch Queen hath arrived. Confessions 2. To 13. Damn, she went from number 1 to 13. Well, I did say that she was gonna drop next week, which we all knew it was going to happen because, like I said, America is not that fixated on the whole dance thing. Europe, they'll keep her in the whole situation. She'll continue to be number 1. She'll continue to have success. In America, it's like, oh, it's this the hot trendy thing right now, so let's jump on it. And I saw somebody say, like, yeah, none of the singles appeared on the Billboard top charts or whatever. And I saw a lot of fans in the comments was like, because we don't stream. What we do is we're listening to the album as it was intended from beginning to end. And we're loving all the songs and discovering things and bringing it down and finding more little bells and trinkets and little Easter eggs and all that other stuff in there. So that's how we're doing. We're taking it old school. We listen to the album and we're enjoying the album for what it is. So we're not up in here with all that digital mess. Quiet as it's kept. We did talk about it yesterday that the digital versions of the album, people are saying that it sounds weird, like it sounds compressed. And these are my DJ friends that are talking about that they don't like the sound quality of the digital versions, that they had to buy the physical copies because the vinyl sounds better, the CD sounds better because of the way that they've compressed the way the music was compressed for the digital version. Is the next child? I think he done sashayed away. They just don't want to admit it. I'm sure Rosalie is happy now that Spain is in the World Cup. Well, look, those are my people too. So shout out to España. My great grandfather was from Spain, so yeah, I'm happy they're in the World Cup finals. Well, with Trump going after Ossoff and Warnock, 2 Democratic senators from Georgia, like people said on Threads, there's the proof that Trump is a mess. Yeah, have y'all seen the pictures of him? He looked terrible. It said not 13. Damn Donta. Yeah, because I got jokes about my Donta. Ariana Grande and Ricky. Yeah, I heard about that. She sure know how to jump from one to another. Well, Ricky, can you please make sure you shove a couple of plates of food down her throat because this thing is looking a little emaciated. I did see a video earlier from this girl on YouTube who had a bit of an eating disorder and did a whole video on. So we're not going to talk about the elephant, or we're not going to address the elephant in the room regarding her not eating and stuff. But you can literally see her rib cage and the bones in her chest. And it's 60 plus minutes long. That's too long for streaming era. Plus, it's a concept album. So look, the album's already a success. The tour will be even a bigger success. I don't know why people are stressing out. I've been playing Confessions 2 on vinyl more than on digital. It is otherworldly when you hear "Good for the Soul." Well, the good news is because I bought a vinyl. So the good news is I actually now have a record player because my mother texted me today and she was like, "Do you want this thing?" Because apparently my sister got one too, but she had it a while ago. So my grandfather had like this old, it literally looks like an old vintage record player, but it looks like it's up to date, current, or whatever, but it has like that vintage look to it. And on the top part, it has like a little record player. I was like, oh, and that's when I looked at it, I was like, you know what? I do have a vinyl because I have the Confessions 2 vinyl. And I was like, oh, maybe I could listen to the album that way once I get my hands on the record player. So I'm probably gonna have to go out to my grandmother's house or whatever and pick it up because I was like, yeah, I do want it. So that way I can have it so that way I can listen to some vinyl. But Dancer Terry debuted on 10. I mean, at number 10, the top pop dancer. Look, her thing is the album is going to be in the whole dance chart situation. She'll be successful on the dance charts. The Billboard is whatever. She'll be successful in the dance music department. She's going to clean up at the Grammys. She'll get a lot of Grammy nominations. It is what it is. If you posted shove some plates down Ariana's throat, you would be. I have many thoughts that I just kept to myself about Miss. Look, first of all, them Arianators can kiss my entire ass in Macy's window if they want to try to read me over the fact that yes, shove some plates down her damn throat, or as Darren the other gay men call it, good for the whole. I mean, don't be surprised if any one of the Drag Race girls come out with a parody or something, or who normally does parody? Or women decide, now it's good for the whole. Just stick up your ass in front of the class, like something like that, lyrically. Do people want TikTok albums now? Well, we're already there where it comes to the whole TikTok album thing, unfortunately, that you got a lot of artists who are doing things for the algorithm. They're making what I call algorithm albums or whatever. They're making records for the algorithm. They don't really care about making quality music. They're doing it because they want to go viral. They want those songs to get a bunch of damn streams, and so that equals what. But people still running around here broke with all that mess. So, um, unfortunately, this is where we are, and I'm not feeling it at all. I don't like this whole algorithm situation. And it's like she doesn't care about that. When she went and made this record, the intent was not to be caught up in algorithms and be a slave to algorithms and all other stuff. Ariana, she got an erectile dysfunction. Let's call it what it is. Oh, eating disorders. When I saw eating, I'm like, she got erectile dysfunction. Don't let me find out she got a dick. I would listen to Eternal Sunshine the other day, and I'm slowly opening up to that album too. Well, you know what? Maybe that's one of her records where people are gonna look at it and be like, you know what? This album was before its time. A gay porn star with a drag queen did a parody of "Bitch I'm Madonna" called "Bitch I'm a Bottom." I'm trying to remember who did that song because I do remember that song. Oh wait, I think I know who it is. I know it was Pablo Hernandez. What happened to him? He just like vanished. Mhm. Anyway, let's get right into the show, y'all. And look, for once, we actually gonna get into the show without us talking for 20 damn minutes. Let me hit the banner and hold on, because I think I got way too many windows open. All right, so without further ado, let's get in the top of number one. And let's talk about the X-Men. So rumors were swirling yesterday because I happened to just be minding my business and I think it just popped up my timeline. So, I need to definitely check into this story. So there's a rumor going around that Adam Driver is up for the role of Professor X and that Patrick Wilson and Bill Skarsgård are up for the role of Charles Xavier in Jake Schreier's upcoming reboot of the X-Men movie franchise, which we definitely need. And shout out to Halle Berry because I saw that she posted today that today marks the 25th anniversary of the first X-Men movie that came out. Jesus Christ, I feel old. So 25 years ago, the original X-Men movie hit our screens where she had that horrible ass African accent and that terrible ass wig with them fucking bangs. I don't know who had the worst bangs, her or Courtney Cox in Scream 3. But nevertheless, that wig was a mess. I'm glad the wigs got better once we got to like part three. I think was when the wig got a little better. It was like, okay, you got to give it a short do that works best for Hallie's head or whatever the case is. I mean, she does. She couldn't rock. Hallie has rocked long hair before, but it's just y'all got to do right by them wigs, chill. I mean, the wigs be looking mess, but nevertheless, the same by Wiggate. We usually say the wig gate stuff for Tyler Perry because he be having, he take the cake when it comes to Marvel ass wigs. But anyway, so word on the street is that Marvel Studios and X-Men director Jake Jake Schreier have found the MCU's Charles Xavier and Magneto. Now, several social media accounts, including Geek Vibes Nation, are reporting that Patrick Wilson and Bill Skarsgård are in the running to play Professor X in the upcoming X-Men movie. It appears the recent rumor on social media was perpetuated Jesus Christ, I can't read today. Perpetuated by the website Night Edge Media. Wilson is quite the accomplished actor in Hollywood, earning a Golden Globe for Fargo and an Emmy and a Golden Globe for Angels in America. He also starred in Watchmen, Aquaman, and The Founder. He played didn't he play Aquaman's brother in the Aquaman films? And he was in Watchmen. He played, so I can't remember his character's name, but he played more like the Batman-esque type character in Watchmen. So I like Patrick Wilson. I definitely think he would be good for the part. I don't know necessarily about Bill Skarsgård. Bill's so damn tall though. And it's like, does he have a proper head to like shave the head and be in the wheelchair? Now, of course, we love ourselves some Patrick Stewart, and I thought that James McAvoy did a great job as Charles Xavier / Professor X, and I actually like Michael Fassbender as Magneto, and of course, we love us some Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto, the very first Magneto that we've seen on the big screen. So they've been doing great casting in regards to this. So I don't necessarily know if I see. And look, Bill Skarsgård at this point pretty much can star in anything, and he's shown how versatile he is as an actor. I know he was recently in that Death of Robin Hood movie with Hugh Jackman, which I heard was kind of boring, and then all the action is in the beginning of the movie. But I know he's in it, and they say he was barely recognizable. So one of the things we know about Bill Skarsgård is he's great at transforming himself into characters that you would not see coming. Like, even though this movie was okay, I thought he was good in it. He also did a movie where he was trying to break into a car, and he gets in this car, and like the voice is the car basically locks him in, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens, and the voiceover is Anthony Hopkins. That was a crazy movie. I can't remember the name of it. He was in that, and I also like Boy Kills World, but he looked like he was so tall and too lanky where he had to do those martial arts sequences because them legs is as long as hell. But he was good in that film too. So, my time to shine. H was first to break the news of Adam Driver being cast as a villain in X-Men, which has since been corroborated by former Nexus Point News writer APOC Horseman. However, he added to the report by claiming that the actor has signed on to play the Master of Magnetism. Now, there's been some chatter about the X-Men cast being revealed at next week's San Diego Comic-Con, so more casting news may be imminent. And that will be when we find out, because this goes to show this actually is, no, I don't know if this story is true. It sounds like it might be, and then stuff is starting to come out, but next week is Comic-Con. And I did hear also that tickets for Avengers Doomsday is going on sale next week. And we haven't even seen a trailer for that yet. So with all of this coming out where they're talking about that Disney is going to be taking over Comic-Con or whatever, I'm thinking all this stuff is going to start coming out. Because we're at a point now, we got to start seeing something coming out of Marvel. Like, what's going on? Because we already have Doom 3 coming out. 2 trailers have already been released regarding those 2 movies. So why haven't we gotten anything from Marvel in regards of Avengers? I know you're probably trying to keep everything close to the chest because of Robert Downey Jr. and who he's playing. We saw the little teasers that we got earlier in the year, but at this point, we need some trailers. Y'all need to start rolling, getting the ball rolling in regards of what you guys got going on over there regarding what's the future of the MCU. So now, in regards of Adam Driver playing Magneto, I actually think that's good casting. I like Adam Driver. I think he's a good actor. He is supposed to be starring in Heat 2. I did hear that story along with Leonardo DiCaprio and a couple of others. I did hear that story as well. I don't know why we're getting a Heat 2 because I love Heat, the first one. But if y'all can make that movie good, then I'll see it. But if it turns out y'all making an unnecessary sequel and it sucks, then we'll always have the original movie. So if Driver is playing Magneto, it seems fair to say that the studio has chosen well. The actor is no stranger playing villains. And I definitely think that he is relatively young. He's only 42. So him being 42 years old, he's definitely around the right age where he can play this role. I do wonder how old Patrick Wilson is to play Charles Xavier. Let me see. Okay, so Patrick Wilson is 53. He just turned 53 because his birthday was July 3rd. So, I mean, here's the thing. Patrick Wilson still looks young enough that he could play younger. Like he looks like he could play early to mid 40s. He definitely has that vibe going for him. So he could still play that part. But I don't know. Um Stranger things have happened in Hollywood. So and Magneto, Adam Driver, he is 42, but he does kind of look older than 42, no shade. But him the fact that they stick around, I do feel like that with them being so young, you can make a lot of X-Men movies, like at least a good 3, 4 X-Men movies, and it'll be awesome. And they can play the characters for a long period of time. So at 42, when they start filming, who knows when they're gonna start filming it? I mean, as soon as the big announcement, everything starts, they'll probably start filming it later this year or maybe early next year. And then he could probably do 4 movies. Then by the time it comes around to it, Adam Driver will be in his early 50s when they set him up for a certain amount of films, like maybe 3 or 4 films, and then they can negotiate down the road based on the success of the film. So now Driver was previously reported to be in talks to play Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four, but you already know that role eventually went to Pedro Pascal, who I also saw is in a new movie that they just showed a trailer for, where he's playing, I think he's playing a cellist or something or another. That looks interesting. Now, it's been rumored on multiple occasions that Mr. Sinister will be the big bad of the new X-Men franchise, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for Magneto. I mean, you can have multiple villains as they have had before in the whole X-Men situation, so I don't see why you couldn't bring a Mr. Sinister. And also, remember they were supposed to be doing a Sinister Six movie at one point? I guess that I wonder what happened with that. Maybe they couldn't come up with something interesting. I'm thinking the Sinister Six was around the time when they were trying to do the whole anti-hero Sony Spider-Verse movie without Spider-Man in it. And all those movies sucked. All of them. And like Madame Web, all the Venom. I hated all 3 Venom movies. Did not like any of them. Um, Even though I will say Tom Hardy was good in the part, the movie sucked. Same thing with Craven. Didn't like Craven, but I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was good in it. Don't even get me started on Morbius. And I can't even think of any of the other ones that came out because they were just all so bad. But those are the ones I'm thinking about off the top of my head. Now, it has been rumored on multiple occasions that Mr. Sinister will be the big bad, but and they said what he'll bring to the movie remains to be seen. There are also unverified rumblings that Nicholas Alexander Chavez from Grotesquerie is being eyed for Cyclops. Well, here's the thing. After he got, and rightfully so, because that movie sucked, got cut out of the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, because that movie was terrible. To see Nicholas Alexander Chavez get in a film or something, because he's a good actor and he's good looking. He's got a great body. Why couldn't we see him in Cyclops? But I could have sworn I've heard other people that they were up for, Cyclops or whatever. But I know they're trying to keep all this close to the best. We'll just have to wait till next week when Comic Con happens, and then we'll find out more that we need to find out in regards to this stuff. And look, with Adam Driver playing Kylo Ren, I definitely think that he could bring a multi-layered situation to playing Magneto, where it's like, yes, he's a villain, but he's also kind of like an anti-hero or misunderstood in a lot of ways. Or sometimes he makes decisions that you kind of look at him like, I don't know if I rock with you in certain situations, but I understand why you did what you did. And that's kind of like the way I felt that Ian McKellen played him in the original X-Men movies. There were certain decisions that he would make, and I was like, "Oh, I'm mad at you over it," but I totally understand why you did what you did. So I kind of like that layer of what he brought to that part. So hopefully it'll be, the movies will be good and movies will be interesting and all that other good stuff. So the X-Men reboot. is expected to be released sometime in 2028. So I'm thinking that yes, they're going to be making this announcement at Comic Con. They're going to reveal who's going to be in the new X-Men movies. They'll probably start filming it at the top of next year, or more than likely sometime this year. Y'all could do it late this year. Go over to the UK, start filming, be done by half of next year, and really take the time to work on the special effects and leave room open for reshoots, so that way, um, by the time 2028 come around, this movie is out and ready for us to go see in theaters, and I could talk about it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you be here to see Patrick Wilson or Bill Skarsgård as Professor X, or Adam Driver, or say and or Adam Driver as Magneto? And if you don't see them, either one of them as those characters, who would you like to see get an opportunity in X-Men? Because you already know they're trying to set it up that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, and we're supposed to find that out officially when Spider-Man comes out. That's if you try to avoid all the leaks online when the movie starts going to be, for the screenings and all that other stuff. And you already know people going to start spoiling it. So, Sadie Sink is already being set up allegedly as Jean Grey. And we'll see how they all set that off to us get to the point of the X-Men and that whole situation kicking off. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I mean, isn't that where all the girls is going? They're going from, you know, um, professional corn to the OF. Speaking of OF, I heard there's an epidemic in this in the country where young men can't wait to turn 18 so they can start their an OF. I posted that in my Instagram stories where and I saw it on somebody's page, and I know there was people go Bo Butler went and commented and a whole bunch of others. But what he was basically saying is that yeah, kids are waiting until they turn 18 to start an OF. Their parents are getting behind the OFs, meaning that they're, I guess, maybe collaborating with their kid, or they're managing their kid and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, if y'all want to go out and do the OFs and all that stuff, be my guest. Just know that it's already oversaturated. If you thinking you're gonna be Reno Gold in like a day, that's that's not gonna happen. Or Raheem Shabazz, or um, what's the other one? The Brazilian. Isn't it Diego with the big old dick? If y'all thinking y'all gonna be them girls after like just starting the OF, y'all gotta really, like, it's a lot of work. I remember that Tony from Tony Directs had said in a recent interview that I saw with him, and he is so cute. But he was like, he was gonna start. He thought about doing OF, and then his manager at the time came up with the name Tony Orex, which is funny. And he said he thought about it, but then after a while he had to come to his senses and was like, you already have a platform of what it is that he does, like his little parody videos, and then he got the movie with the Christmas movie that he had wound up getting. And then he said that he wound up getting all these endorsement deals, the Christmas movie with George Lopez. And then he was getting all these different opportunities, and brand deals were coming to knock on his door and all this other stuff. And it's like, you don't need to do that because you already made your mark. You already solidified yourself in some other way. Now, if you want to go off and do sex work, then be my guest. But you don't have to resort when you're already like made it and you're successful in your own right. You don't need to resort to the sex work in order to now show other side. Now, I wouldn't have minded seeing, what the peen look like, but keep it conservative. Mhm. Probably used to be one of my first homosexual crushes, but like many of those Andrew Christmas, not Andrew Christmas, they faded into oblivion after their looks faded. He is on OF, but I'm not sure if it's still active. I remember there was some sort of mini documentary on YouTube about Pablo and all the DTLA gays that circulate. That child, don't even remind me, because at one point I was hanging out with them DTLA girls, and I wasn't doing the Abbey, but I was in the area. I would see all of them over there. I would see Nick Mask. I would see all the usual porn stars. Um, and it was like even me hanging at Avita. Like whenever I would go to Avita, because a friend of mine worked there, so I would be at Avita. That's why I met. Oh my God, how am I forgetting her damn name? She's a trans DJ, and she was like, "We could be cousins," because she used to do all the parties and stuff out in Fire Island. And I'm literally having a brain fart on her damn name right now. DJ Lena. I had to think about girl because she used to be Girl Lena. DJ Lena, and she looked at me. She was like, when I met her at Avita, and a friend of mine introduced me. She said, "Oh, we could be cousins." I was like, "Yes, we could," because we kind of favor each other. So, so, um, at Avita, we used to. That was like when the House of Avalon and all of them was there, and I was like, "Child, I had the name first," but I did. I would hang out in the section with them and all that other stuff. It was cute. So yeah, I do remember like child that DTLA gays. It is a scene, but I just realized it's all bullshit. It's all artificial. Bo Banks, that's why I met him too. He was nice. Madonna's getting an official merch store on Amazon now. It's about goddamn time. So maybe I'll go to Amazon and look at some of the merch over there. Cause I did see something about confessions crop tops. I don't know if those were legit because like with Facebook, I be thinking a lot of those little merch things are scams. So I don't be trusting those. Madonna continues to attract new generation of fans. According to chart data, millennials recorded the largest increase. Well, good for them. Not being fresh. Off at 18. That's what they got to think. And the unfortunate part about a lot of the younger generation is that y'all frontal lobes have not even developed yet. So y'all not even thinking about that there could be consequences to y'all doing like sexual content at y'all age. Like really think about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that it's well. The real conversation I think we need to be having is why do people even have to resort to adult cinematography or being an adult performer in order to make a living wage? Regular jobs should be paying people a living wage, and these kids and adults wouldn't even have to resort to spreading their legs, laying it low and spreading it wide for a coin. If I was actually paying people a living damn wage, but they not. So they have to resort to prostitution. I had no idea Honey Dijon was close to 60. Yeah, she's been around for a long time. I thought she was brand new. No, Honey Dijon been around for a long time. So yeah, I thought she was brand new, but yeah, that shows age shouldn't stop you. And I've been saying that. I'm like, people should not allow age to stop you from doing anything in life. As long as you got breath in your body, that's a time. That's the opportunity for you to try out things you've never done. Oh, you said the documentary was called Celebrity. Oh, Murray Swampy. I'm glad you're putting all the names on here because I be forgetting bitches. Yeah, I met Murray Swampy, Nick Mask. That's what I was telling you. Topher DiMaggio. All of them was out there. Would all be out there. Those are the scene queens up in WeHo. They still might be, but yeah, it was always the usual suspects. And if you went to set like I would see them out in Century City, which is close to Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills is literally next door to West Hollywood. So all of that is in close proximity. Peak millennial famous gays. You had to have the snatch body and all of that. Whew, child together. But anyway, let's get back into the show, y'all. And let's go from the MCU to DCU because word on the street is apparently Scarlett Johansson's Batman 2 character may have leaked online. Now, I saw this on Comic Book Movie and I also saw this on Forbes. So there may be some truth to this. But word on the street is Scarlett Johansson may not be playing Gilda Dent after all. Who knows? Or she could be playing, she might not even be playing a member of the Court of Owls, which I'm hoping that's the direction they're going to be going into. But according to rumors, she might be playing Poison Ivy in the upcoming Batman sequel. So, when Nexus Point News broke the story that Johansson was in talks for a role in Matt Reeves' sequel, they mentioned Poison Ivy as one of the characters they heard she was in the running for. This detail was largely forgotten, but once the trades confirmed the news, as more than one outlet claimed that the Black Widow star was set to play Harvey Dent's wife, Gilda. Since then, rumors have circulated that Johansson, Sebastian Stan, and Charles Dance are not playing the characters we think they are. Excuse me. And as a Reddit post from the generally reliable DCU leaks, approved by moderators, has now shared some intriguing new information. Apparently, Johansson will play a serial killer obsessed with plants who uses toxins to carry out her crimes. Her main target is Dance's character, the leader of a secret organization made up to be up of one of the most powerful figures in the city. So I'm thinking what is going to happen based on they're doing this. She is not, because from what I heard is Brian Tyree Henry is playing Harvey Dent, which I'm sure that people are probably. I think I heard that people were getting upset that they got a black man playing Harvey Dent. First of all, Billy D. Williams was the first one to play Harvey Dent. So if y'all want to come up out here and all of a sudden act brand new, a black man played Harvey Dent back in 1989. So what are we talking about, Willis? Now, this would make sense that it was like, okay, so they got her playing a serial killer who's using plant-based stuff. So that's a different twist on Poison Ivy, which I think is quite fascinating because when you think of Poison Ivy, you're thinking there might be some supernatural aspect that they can go with that. But if we're talking about horticulture, there are ways that you can use biology and science and all that other stuff to do the things that you need to do. You can bring a more realistic twist to Poison Ivy, which I think is quite interesting. And if she's playing this part, I definitely like this idea. Now, I hope she could fight too, because there got to be some situations where her and Batman get into it, and the fact that she wants to take down the Court of Owls because maybe they did something to her family or to her or something or another, and there's these powerful elites that she wants to take out. And Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, being one of the elites who kind of goes back and forth with this battle of, yeah, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Yes, my parents partook in some real shady shit, as we found out in the Batman Part 1. How do I regulate that and make that right and show like, okay, now that we go down from generation to generation, I don't want to repeat the same things that my parents did back when I didn't even understand what was going on because of what the situation that I was born into. And then, of course, we heard that Sebastian Stan, who they initially thought was going to be playing Harvey Dent, is playing Victor Zsasz. That is the rumor. It hasn't been confirmed, but he's playing Victor Zsasz. Because I was wondering, I'm like, why is because we've seen pictures of um Sebastian looking like he been in the gym and he is ripped. And I'm sitting there like, why is Sebastian Stan getting ripped playing Harvey Dent? You're gonna be in a damn suit. We ain't gotta see you unless you're gonna be naked throughout the whole damn movie. And we already know the Batman is not trying to do all of that. The Batman is not, this is not the porn, this is not the men.com version. The stupid gay corn parody of a Batman movie. So of course Harvey Dent is gonna have a suit on. But if you got Victor Zsasz, there's no way that, and I think he shaved his head too, which would make sense because I remember B.D. Wong played him at one point. I think in the Batman series Gotham, where he had the shaved head and all the other stuff. So if your body is ripped, if you shaved your head and you're playing Victor Zsasz, there's no reason why you need to. I mean, because that's a physical character. Yeah, you got to show flesh and all that other stuff. Maybe I don't know what the costume looks like, but um kind of like this idea. They also mentioned that, yeah, and that's what I was saying before. Now, the rest of the article says, yeah, the post also mentioned that Sebastian Stan is indeed playing Victor Zsasz, not Harvey Dent. If Johansson is playing a version of Pamela Isley, it may lend credence to another recent rumor that DC Studios is developing a live-action Poison Ivy series set in the same universe as the Batman movies and HBO's The Penguin. Now, the question remains, if they are developing a series of Poison Ivy, which I did hear this as well, would you get a new actress or would Scarlett Johansson be willing to sign on, similar to what um, Colin Farrell did with The Penguin? Which they've been talking about they're doing a sequel to The Penguin. Now I'm hearing they're not doing a sequel to The Penguin. To be honest, I don't think we need a sequel to The Penguin because I already know Colin ain't trying to get up in all that fat suit and the costume and all the other stuff that he's got to wear in order to play that part. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. And I know he probably get annoyed having to get all dressed up and all that regalia. So if they want to do something where it's just a limited series of each of the Batman villains and kind of give us like an 8 or 9 or 8 episode limited series of like a Poison Ivy, like they did with the Penguin, I'd be here for it because the Penguin was a great season. I really liked the show. I was mad y'all killed off the little Spanish kid. What was his name? Victor. I was mad when y'all killed him off in the finale, but it had to happen. I understood why. It's like what I said before. I was mad that you did it, but I understood why you did it. Now, so like I said, like the Batman Part 2 plot details, we don't know. It's all speculation. But if this turns out to be true, this definitely sounds quite exciting. And I actually like the idea they could do a different twist on someone like a Poison Ivy. Now, if they would want to do Mr. Freeze, I wonder how they would try to do that. I mean, maybe they can go in a cryogenic angle and use that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's all the news that we have on this right now. The movie is supposed to come out, Batman Part 2, as in the movie. It's supposed to come out October 1st, 2027. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie once it hits theaters next year. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe, or would you be down for the rumor that Scarlett Johansson might be playing a Matt Reeves grounded version of Poison Ivy, who's trying to take out the Court of Owls with her plant-based poisons? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know. To me, it always sounds that definitely works because we've been seeing Pattinson doing more like the detective aspect, and you know how smart he is with with a lot of the stuff that he does, especially in the first movie. Seeing him do more of that detective stuff, I definitely think would be fairly interesting to see that play out in this movie. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm sorry, only Uma Thurman can do Poison Ivy justice. Give her a different character. Let Uma be the only. No, I don't agree with that. We've had so many different iterations of different characters over the years. How many different actors have played Joker? How many different actors have played Batman? How many different actors have played Harvey Dent? How many different actors have played? I was gonna say Mr. Freeze. I think only one. We've had different characters play Bane, live and animated. So if we could have multiple characters come and play different roles, I would like to see the character of Poison Ivy played by a different character. To me, the Poison Ivy that Uma Thurman played was campy because wasn't that the Joel Schumacher version? So that was like just camp. Whereas in this film, that's taking more of a serious detective approach. So if you can bring sort of like a true crime CSI-ish type of angle to a Batman movie, I think that's quite interesting. So I'd be different. I definitely would like to see what Matt Reeves does with that character, if that is the character she's playing. Did you ever meet any of YouTube gays in the 2010s? Davey Wavy, Um, no, I never actually met Davey Wavy and all of them. I mean, funny enough, I could probably call up a friend of mine, being like, and he'd be like, "You actually did meet them," because there was a time when half the Drag Race girls, a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, you did meet them." Like I met Alexis Michelle before Alexis Michelle went on Drag Race because I wound up going to her drag brunch, and there've been other queens that I've met, and I'd be like, "I didn't meet them," and they was like, "Yes, you did." So I'd be forgetting. So you never know with me. I probably did. I probably was in the room with them. We probably had a whole conversation, encountered them, and I don't even remember. I'm naming all these people and I'm noticing a pattern. What's the shelf life of a famous gay guy? Because from the looks of it, girl, Jesus, they peak in their 20s. Yeah, because who was the influencer that had the little list that did the whole drag makeover on Drag Race? Wasn't he? And he was partnering with Monet Exchange, and then I think that was when Monet got eliminated because it was supposed to be the family resemblance. And then Michelle Visage, annoying ass, always like, "I don't see a family resemblance." I'm like, why? Because one is black and one is white. Like, are we dumb here? Like, the family resemblance should come from the overall aesthetic, like the costumes they match, not if it got to be exact interpretation. So, yeah, I forgot that child name. But anyway, let's get into some more tea, and we can go from the cinema to the theater because it looks like Broadway is in a crisis at this point. So it was announced today that Cats the Jellicle Ball, which is based, it was like the version of Cats, but the twist is it's got more of a Paris is Burning ballroom approach, which based on the clips and based on what I saw on the Tony Awards, hosted by Pink, which was actually good. And they recently performed on Jimmy Fallon. The show looks pretty good. The show looks interesting. It looks entertaining. I've been meaning to get around to seeing it, but I haven't been getting around to seeing it yet. But unfortunately, I better go see it soon because they're closing in August. So it has been announced that August 8th will be the final performance of Cats the Jellicle Ball. The production canceled its July 13th performance earlier this evening due to unrelated company illnesses. Don't tell me they was out here getting a RIA from that little disease going around that the FCC ain't been regulating. Now, 3 years ago, Zaylon Livingston and Bill Rauch began the remarkable process of reimagining Cats for a new generation. They assembled a visionary creative team that fused their passions for ballroom and theater to create something thrillingly new, said a statement from producers Michael Harrison and Mike Bosner. With a truly superhuman cast bringing this vision to life, New York has once again discovered the phenomenon that has become Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats the Jellicle Ball. The joy that radiates from the stage each night is unlike anything we've experienced in our careers. It has been a true honor to help bring ballroom to Broadway. The reimagined revival of Lloyd Webber's musical transforms its Jellicle Cats into drag ball contestants walking sickening looks down the runway. Now, previews began March 18th prior to an official opening April 7th. So there's only been 4 months that it's been out. That's crazy. And it's been doing really well, but they're canceling it anyway. At the Broadhurst, coming to the main stem, after a premiere run at off Broadway's Perelman Performing Arts Center last year. The production won 2026 Tony Awards for Best Choreography for Amari Wiles and Arturo Lyons, Best Direction of a Musical for Livingston and Rauch, Best Costume Design for a Musical for Queen Jean. Because wasn't it like they said that was the first trans woman to win like a Tony Award for the Best Costume Design? Now, much of the cast from the earlier off-Broadway show is back to reprise their work, including Tony winner Andre DeShields, as Old Deuteronomy, Temperance Chastity Moore as Grisabella, Junior LaBeija as Gus, Sidney James Harcourt as Rum Tum Tugger, Jonathan Burke as Mungo Jerry, Baby Byrne as Victoria, Dava Huesca as Rumpel Teaser. I got to take a minute with these names. Dudney Joseph Jr. as Monkus Trap. Robert Silk Mason as Magical Mr. Mistopheles. Primo the Ballerino, that ain't your real name, Chair. Primo the Ballerino as Tumble Brutus. Xavier Reyes as Jenny and Dots. Nora Shell as Bustopher Jones, BB Nicole Simpson as Demeter, Sophia as Cassandra and Skimple Shanks, Garnett Williams as Bumblearuna, I think is their name, Ted Wilson Jr. as Syllabub, and Tara LaShan Clink Scales. The cast also includes Leomi Maldonado as Mavacity. Well, they said legendary head judge Leomi. She going by one name. Oh, she Madonna now. There's a Kaya Azine from Pose as etc. Bryson Battle, the voice, as Jelly the Rum, and Ken Ard, who created the role of McCavity in the 1982 original Broadway production as DJ Griddlebone, along with Sherrod T. Brown, Bryce Ferris, Fumzil Sajola, Masquerade, Kendall Grayson Stroud, a bunch of other people. There's a whole lot of goddamn names, and I'm getting tongue tied because it's just these names is these names. Now, the production, co-directed by Zaylon Livingston and Bill Rauch, and featuring voguing-infused choreography by Omari Wiles and Arturo Lyons, has its Jellicle Cats convening for an annual ball to stomp the runway in fabulous duds, with Lloyd Webber's Tony-winning score, notably including the seminal "Memory," newly augmented by dance music-inspired beats by Beats arranger and producer Trevor Holder. The Broadway Bows Theater configuration includes onstage seating on either side of a ballroom runway. Well, that's cute that you got people actually, and I see it too, where you see like on the sides, they got one of the pictures I'm looking at. They have tables on the side or whatever, I guess, because they wanted to feel like there's literally people judging the ballrooms and all the stuff. I would just have them hold up signs for tens and chops. That would have been cute if they was doing that. Now, the creative team also includes scenic designer Rachel Huck, costume designer Queen Jean, lighting designer Adam Honore, and a bunch of others. Now, most recently brought somewhat mainstream by the FX series Pose, the ballroom scene is an underground Leviticua IA plus because they added that subculture that arose in 1920s New York City, arguably reaching its zenith in the 80s. Home to runway walk categories that invent participants to dress in any number of themes, ranging from the extravagant to the fabulously commonplace. The ballroom scene is also where Vogue dancing comes from, but real voguing, not Madonna voguing, dominated specifically by the Black and Latino queer communities. The scene has become ingrained in much of queer and popular culture today, particularly the world of drag. Now, child, they call that Nogan, what they be doing up in drag race. Ball culture was most famously memorialized in the iconic 1990 documentary Paris is Burning. But the world of ballroom is a new take on the Lloyd Webber musical, which debuted in London in 1979 as a dance musical adapted from T.S. Eliot's book of poetry, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Largely plotless, the musical follows a tribe of so-called Jellicle cats who gather for an annual ball, presenting themselves for the chance to be reborn into a new life. The first act culminates in an all-dancing Jellicle ball. While the connections to ballroom culture might seem obvious now, the original production, choreographed by Gillian Lynn, featured quasi-modern ballet-inspired dance and cat costumes comprising 80s appropriate leotards and leg warmers. The original Broadway production of Cats won 7 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, Best Score by Lloyd Webber, and 2 posthumous Tonys for Elliott for Best Book and Score. It ran on Broadway from 1982 to 2000, making it the 5th longest running show in the main stem. It enjoyed a brief revival from 2016 to 2017 in a production that largely replicated the original Cats. The Jellicle Ball is the second Broadway revival of the musical. So that was a mouthful and an education, but unfortunately, I just don't understand why this show is closing. But and neither does Andrew Lloyd Webber, who has a whole lot to say regarding the situation. And he took time to talk about the fact that, yeah, with this show closing, even with all the accolades and the fact that it's doing okay, like it's doing fairly well with ticket sales and stuff, that y'all still closing stuff. So it kind of makes you wonder, is it just that y'all closing stuff because I don't want to say racism has anything to do with it because I don't always want to be quick to go to that thing. But when you look at a show like Cats the Jellicle Ball and the cast is predominantly Black and Hispanic, kind of makes you wonder if that might be the case, even if the show was successful. Because there's been shows that, yeah, they so bad that they have to close them early. We've seen that been happening lately. But with this show, it just doesn't make sense. If it's good, if it's doing well, then why not just keep it open? So Angela Weber responded to the early closure of Cats and Jellicle Ball by arguing that Broadway musicals are in a crisis. In a lengthy social media post on Tuesday, the composer warned that the high cost of mounting shows makes it hard for creators to earn a living and has investors worried about supporting original works. And that's another thing too, is that yeah, one, tickets are too damn high with Broadway. I think that y'all need to find a way to make Broadway tickets affordable. The fact that you think that people are going to pay $300-400 to see a show is for one person is ridiculous. Ticket prices not only for Broadway is crazy, but so are ticket prices for regular concerts. Like, what are we doing? And so, and these dancers are these performers are working their ass off doing 8 shows a week to the point of exhaustion, being in pain. We even had, who was it that Amber Riley said she ain't doing no damn Broadway because of the amount of work y'all ask them to do, and this is like very little reward. It's like, yeah, you could love and have a passion for doing Broadway, but these people are damn near, killing themselves to put on these shows. They should be making way more money than actors who sit on their ass 14 to 16-hour days in a goddamn trailer getting paid millions of dollars to do what? Say a couple of lines, and that's it? They're not working as hard as the people in theater. Yet the theater people get paid significantly less. Make that make sense. So he said, without action, Broadway risks rivaling Hollywood's empty sound stages. Increasingly dark theaters where bold New York new work once lived. Theater owners, unions, and producers must come together urgently. Every part of the industry has a stake in finding a solution. Broadway is more than a street or a collection of buildings. It is an idea, and one of the greatest cultural ideas America has given us. The idea is now in dire danger. I beg everyone with the power to protect it. Come together before it is too late. It's a blunt message from Lloyd Webber, one of the most successful composers in theater history, and it comes as others have sounded the alarm about the health of musicals. Last season, 6 original musicals debuted on Broadway, a steep drop from the 14 or 15 that opened in the previous 2 seasons. Cast of Jellicle Ball has come as some of the best reviewed had some of the best reviews of the year, with critics praising the decision to restage Lloyd Webber's Cats as a ballroom competition, pitting drag performers against each other on the runway. Initially, the show was earning between 900,000 to 1 million a week, a respectable figure. However, sales fell sharply after the Jellicle Ball lost the Best Revival of a Musical Tony Award to Ragtime. The other awards it won, I mean, that didn't help it. Now, Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard, which was revived with Nicole Scherzinger. Um, they said was remounted in 2024 on Broadway by director Jamie Lloyd in a stripped down version that won a Tony for Best Revival as well as for Nicole Scherzinger's lead performance. However, the show failed to recoup its investment. He says, the painful truth is that with things as they are, bringing almost any new show to Broadway makes little financial sense. The costs are immense. Creators, writers, and directors are often forced to accept minimal royalties simply to get work staged. Of course, Broadway establishment hits may remain profitable, but Broadway cannot survive creatively or commercially on 3 old shows. New and daring work must have a future. Now, despite his frustration with the economics of Broadway, Lloyd Webber and Lloyd are bringing Evita to Broadway next year with Rachel Ziegler. A 2025 production of the show was a smash hit when they debuted in London on the West End, or at the West End, I should say, but the composer seems reticent to commit to other Broadway productions. In an interview with Variety tied to Evita, Lloyd Webber suggested that he might not mount his next musical, The Illusionist, in New York. I've been worried about Broadway for a very long time because people are not really able to get their money back, and most of these shows have limited runs. And it's a brave person who brings something to Broadway now. So they've got to figure out what they need to do. If y'all not really going to take the time to really invest in a lot of these products and stuff, how are we going to get these shows made? And yeah, Broadway is going to be a whole situation where they got to limit a lot of empty theaters. Like, Broadway used to mean something. Now it's just like it's way too expensive. People are not making money hand over fist like they used to, and it's just unfortunate that you want to get out and see a show, and because of circumstances you can, and then by the time you're ready to go, be like, okay, I got the money, I got the ticket, and now the show is done. It's the same thing like what Megan Thee Stallion and her dumb ass did, and that still pissed me off to this day, and I didn't even go. I mean, I didn't even buy a ticket, and I'm mad for the people, like, because you went through what you was going through with your relationship. I don't feel like doing Broadway no more. I'm done. 2 weeks left in her show where people will actually buy tickets. Then you pull that foolishness. So it's unfortunate. Shout out to Broadway. Hopefully, y'all get y'all itch together and Good luck to you, Angela Lloyd Webber, because yeah, Broadway is in a crisis chair. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the future of Broadway? And Cats the Jellicle Ball is closing next month. I think what did I say, August 8th? Another good show going. Because they're saying that, yeah, like after it didn't win Best Musical, I guess people just forgot about the show and just didn't go see it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Who's Kim Marshall? You said like classical music, Broadway is what? Here's another 1% thing. We've been maxed out another thing where we're needed. Broadway tickets are definitely too high. I haven't seen a Broadway show in years, and those I did see were because tickets were payment for working some gay networking events. Or what I've done is I've gone to the TKTS booth, the tickets booth, as they call it, well, in the middle of Times Square, and I found some really good deals. Like I've seen a couple of interesting plays. Like I went to see Some Like It Hot, and I went to the last play I went to go see, I think was Here Lies Love, which was a good Filipino play. So I've gotten to see some Broadway plays, but I haven't been to a Broadway show in like 2 years. So yeah, um, they got to do better by these movies. I mean, by these Broadway plays. All right, y'all. So now let's get to this story. Let's talk about Armie Hammer. So Citizen Vigilante is out. I don't know if it's showing in a theater, but I did notice when I went on Prime Video, you can actually go and rent it or buy it. I wouldn't do either because Uwe Boll is one of the worst filmmakers in cinematic history. I mean, he makes Ed Wood look like fucking Scorsese with the horrible ass films that he does. But nevertheless, Armie Hammer is starring in Uwe Boll's latest film, Citizen Vigilante, where his character is going around unaliving immigrants. And he said when he saw the movie, he was surprised at how the film turned out, and that's not what he said. That's not what he signed up for. Okay, sir. So, in an article published on Puck News on Tuesday, Kim Masters reported that actor Armie Hammer is not feeling great about the new fame he is accumulating after appearing in Uwe Boll's bloody anti-immigrant film Citizen Vigilante. An unnamed source in Hammer's camp said that the actor was in tears when he viewed the Not Tears of Georgia. It's his first project since he was accused by multiple women of sexual and emotional abuse and subsequently dropped by his talent agency. Hammer, I should go on the record and say he has denied all the allegations. And he's done a couple of little podcast interviews here and there. So they said he called me. This is what the source told Masters and said, fuck, this is hateful, disgusting. The hateful film surged from low level notoriety to right wing glorification when Elon Musk personally shilled it for a week after its June release, boosting Twitter users' gleeful celebrations of its hyperviolence and eventually posting the film in full on his platform for a 2-day period. And that, like minded or curious viewers, pushed Boll's movie to #1 on Amazon and Apple. Now, Boll, a filmmaker and provocateur known for largely awful and unprofitable movies, y'all, that's a fact, has leaned in appearing on right-wing podcasts to capitalize on these 15 minutes of fame. But Hammer has to have realized that the movie clip that circulated most widely, the climax of the movie, in which Hammer's character, an American veteran named Sanders, methodically murders 10 Syrian refugees in a family apartment, is being shared as pro-fascist propaganda by the worst people in the world. As a comeback for a canceled actor, Citizen Vigilante leaves a lot to be desired, even for a purported paycheck of $250,000. So yes, he was paid $250,000 to be in this film, according to the report. You did a film where a guy is going around unaliving immigrants, and you're sitting up here saying, I didn't know what this movie was going to be about. I didn't know this is what I signed up for. You, sir, you didn't read the script that you were spewing, like the stuff that was coming out of your mouth. And I haven't seen the film, but I'm just thinking, like, from a context of an actor. And I will say this, a lot of times as an actor, you don't get the full script. There have been many a times we heard stories where it's like they're doing script rewrites when you're on set, or people sign on to do a movie and you're acting, and the movie is like, I mean, the script is not even all the way finished, but they're on set filming, and then they're working on pages and pages of stuff while you're memorizing lines for this. So there have been times where, when it comes to movies, where it gets crazy on a set. So I understand that. But when you're doing a film like this and you're working with this, like, have you not even done research on Uwe? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never seen an Uwe movie, because this how I know his movies is terrible. I saw House of the Dead. That was, like, I think his first movie that he came out with, maybe 20 some odd years ago. And I love, as a fan of horror and zombies and all that other stuff, I was like, oh, look, a new zombie movie. I was like, what is this shit? Like, it was terrible. All of his movies are bad. And then he also did Blood Rain. I don't know if he did all of them, but I know he did the Blood Rain with Michelle Rodriguez was in it, and Kristana Loken, which allegedly them two was hunching. They was a couple at the time. So that movie was terrible. Everything that man touches, like Trump, turns to shit. So why would you be surprised that, because of the world in which we're in right now, and where fascism is becoming more and more apparent, that this would be the hill he wants to die on, and he's liking all this attention? So I don't know if I can cut him that much slack, because I will say this also. Movies are often made in the editing room. It's like you could film whatever you film, but also it's not until you get into the editing room that the real making of the movie begins, because you're taking all the scenes and stuff that you got and you're trying to put something together to make a movie. So I understand all of that, which is why it kind of irritated me when Whoopi Goldberg was up there, and this is the most she's ever talked on The Fucking View, because any other time her fat, oh, she's not even fat no more. She lost the weight. Her ass usually just sit up there and just be sitting there looking like she bored. But she was up there staunchly defending him. And we do have that scenario. So I want y'all to see that. Hold on. We're gonna watch that scenario go down. And we are gonna come back and we gonna talk. Please hold.
Actor Armie Hammer's career took a nosedive over disturbing allegations of sexual and psychological abuse and cannibalism, which he's denied. He recently mounted a comeback attempt with a movie called Citizen Vigilante, which is being slammed as an anti-immigrant, anti-Islamic, it's Islamic-phobic movie. But he's now disavowing the movie as hateful and disgusting. And he says that's not the movie he signed on to when he was given the first 50 pages of the script. And so, people are saying, well, you should have known, and why did you do it? It's like,
I ask you.
Well, you
though,
know.
Whoopi. Yeah. Does a lead actor get only 50 pages of a script and then and sort of get into it and then not really know what the final cut is going to look like? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah.
The thing here, though, is it's a controversial director, and some of his own lines were sort of the most divisive, if you want to say. Like, one is like, the people never voted for what's happening. This is an unfriendly takeover of Islamist extremists and blindsided by the woke left. Like, you kind of knew what character you were playing. Like, it's not like he thought he was playing something different.
Yeah, but he's an actor. He's an actor.
That's what actors do.
That's what we do. We play problematic people.
Yeah.
So I don't know, listen, I'm just going to say it like this. He hasn't worked for a while because people made assumptions and there was all kinds of stuff. Armie Hammer, he went to, they went to, they went to court.
LAPD investigated all the claims and declined to file criminal charges citing insufficient evidence.
And so the problem with that is your reputation has already been tanked.
Yeah.
And so it only takes an accusation.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's true or not.
That's why
I guess. And so when people don't hire you,
Yeah.
And when you can't get work
and make a living,
you take whatever you can get. And he's an actor. Having lived through this kind of insanity when someone decides that you said what the people said you said,
and then
and they cancel you, and it turns out that it didn't happen that way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because people have already made up their mind about it.
But he's been an actor for a while, and the acting is acting. So even if you've never played this sort of role, why are you now lashing out?
It's the disavowal I'm confused.
That's what I mean.
Either stand by it,
because
like an example.
I think it's because, I always say to you guys, movies are often made in the cutting room.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did a movie called Hall Pass one time, and I played a shrink. I didn't know the whole script.
Yeah.
When I went to the screening of it, there's a scene about explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
I don't think Judi Dench did a movie like that. From now on, if I was ever in a movie again, I would read the whole script.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know what's in the movie.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the point.
That doesn't ruin your therapy scene
but
just
the
because
thing
there's
is, this-
explosive diarrhea.
Really?
She poops in the street in Bridesmaids, and I'd kill to be in that movie.
But what she's saying is that her point is she doesn't necessarily want to be in a movie
with explosive diarrhea.
Call me. I'm gonna be fine.
And he may not have. He didn't want to be in this type of movie because a source said the first time he saw it, he was in tears, and not tears of joy. He was distressed because this was his chance at a comeback,
and now
he's
it's
attached
again
to this type of
and listen again, having had this kind of thing happen to me, and having had people going, "Oh, come on, you had to have known." It's like, I told you what happened.
Yeah.
You can take it or leave it. There's nothing you can do, because in this day and age, when someone accuses you, you stand accused no matter what you say, no matter what you do. And you can show people, this is true.
That's
you can
true.
show people what you actually said, and they go, "No,
it's
I don't think that."
Yeah.
Okay, so that was what they said on there. But here's the thing. I mean, all of those points are valid, but I feel like she missed the point on where they glossed over, where they said he hasn't worked in a long time. He got canceled because of the allegations of the cannibalism and the assaults and all those other things from women in his past. And so Uwe offered him a part. I don't know how he got the part. I don't know if his agent sorted out and he was like, "Do you want to be in my movie?" Or he was approached personally. I don't know how he came about the part. The reality is he did the film. He was desperate because as an actor, he wanted to get out there and make movies. And now he's getting the backlash because of what he signed up for. It's just own it. It's no different. And I'm probably because they weren't thinking about this. Maybe they don't know because they're not deep into the whole thing like I am in regards to the conversation. But this is no different than Jonathan Majors signing up to do a movie for Ben Shapiro's production company. So when this movie comes out and whatever controversy is surrounding that movie, and then all of a sudden Jonathan Majors gets the backlash, he better not come out and use the same goddamn talking point. Because that's what this is giving, is the fact that these psychopathic right-wing nut jobs are the only ones that's offering you a gig because they secretly have an agenda. You're just happy to be getting a part, but you have to realize that actors can no longer separate themselves from the part that they're playing. When you sign on to do certain roles, and we know that there's, when it comes to that, actors play characters against type or whatever the case is. But when you're playing into something that is currently resonating with a lot of people in our lifetime, meaning the Islamophobia and anti-immigration, where there was just a story coming out that ICE is out here still unaliving Hispanics. There was a man that was just killed, and there was a whole protest about it. A father, again, he was coming home from work or whatever, and was unalived by a damn ICE agent, and I think somebody was unalived today. So, and the news is, of course, not talking about it. So actors really have to tread lightly and be very careful in the parts that they pick up on, because art is starting to imitate, life is starting to imitate the art and vice versa, and it's starting to become a slippery slope. So I understand where Whoopi's coming from in a lot of those things, but you also have to realize that I'm sure he was aware of some of the stuff. I don't know if the name of the movie was called Citizen Vigilante, but you have to be aware of, at least in some of the script, that when you were reciting whatever lines you was reciting, that what some of that stuff meant. You can't just take a complete be like a blank canvas and take a complete blind eye to not wanting to take any kind of accountability for the part that you played in this film. So you could try to disassociate yourself from it all you want, but you made the movie and it is what it is. So hold on, because I want to see what the people were saying over there in the view comments. Well, one person says some actors film movies and get totally taken out of the final cut. Yeah, but he wasn't taken out of the final cut. So that's different. The other person said he could have thought he was playing a villain, a cautionary tale, but when he watched the final cut of the film, the message is that his character is actually righteous. All it takes is a re-edit and the final scene to change the entire framing of the film. So, and then some people are Team Whoopi in this. I don't know how, and to this day, y'all still misspell that lady name. Armie should have seen the walking red flag that is Uwe Boll and had second thoughts before taking the role. Another person said, you can play a bad character thinking that the director will show the bad side of the character, not raise them up to be a hero. I can see how a few times wouldn't change anyone's mind. Imagine playing Freddy Krueger, thinking that the teens will end up by at the end of the movie, based on the final few pages, movie ends and you end up getting all the okay. I don't even understand a fucking word that this person just wrote, so I'm not even gonna finish it. He knew he was trying to parlay his way back into Hollywood, which is what one person said. Another one said when he shot the mother and teenage daughter in the movie, what did he think he was filming? The SNL sketch? Another person said, yes, it's possible that editing can change the direction of the film. Adrian Brody did a film in the 90s called The Thin Red Line, and he was supposed to be the lead character. They filmed hours and hours of scenes, and the final cut, he was edited out. Well, here's the thing. That happens too, but this is not what this is. He's in the movie. He played the character. People are in an uproar over the character. But of course, then you have people like Elon Musk who likes to weaponize things to get y'all riled up because he's turned Twitter into this Nazi, racist, white supremacist playground and a place that's full of porn. But we love the porn. We just don't like the bigotry and the racism. So of course he was gonna try to weaponize this to use the film for his own little personal gain. And you got caught up in the middle of it. So it's unfortunate, Armie Hammer. Now, speaking of Sonny and The View and all of them, let's get into this story. So apparently, Sonny Hostin's son apparently got a ticket or something or another, a citation, we should call it, in New York while jogging, claiming he had no intent to trespass. And so his mother, Sonny Hostin, is representing her son. And that's the funny thing. If your mama's a lawyer, you don't have to worry about hiring an attorney because you could be like, Mom, something happened. Can you represent me in court? Now, Sonny, who's also a lawyer and former federal prosecutor, because she loves to tell us that every time she's on the damn show, wrote a letter to an assistant district attorney for the New Rochelle City Court obtained by TMZ on Monday, July 13th. In the letter, she reportedly asked the prosecutor to dismiss the violation and noted that her 24-year-old son, Gabriel Hostin, is a 2025 Harvard University graduate with no criminal history or prior contact with the criminal justice system, who was simply in the area training. Per documents obtained by TMZ and USA Today, Gabriel was given a citation by the the MTA, basically we'll just call it that, Metropolitan Transportation, MTA, on June 16th, which did not result in an arrest. Wait, isn't June 16th Juneteenth? While jogging, Gabriel spotted a gravel incline that could be used for hill training. Gates to the area were open with a no trespassing sign not visible to Gabriel when he entered the property, she added. And you want to know something? Now, this thing I totally get because there have been times when it's like, I get creative with my workouts. So I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I could use that as a way. And that's something I've actually learned, like when I used to train with UFC, is that you can pretty much take anything and make it a weight or use it instead of having to go specifically to a gym. So you get creative. And he was getting creative with his workout. They said he reasonably believed the area was accessible and had no intention of entering private property unlawfully. Per Sonny's letter, Gabriel was then approached by a police officer and his mom later showed up to the scene. The officer allegedly acknowledged that the gate should have been closed, which Sonny wrote had reinforced her son's reasonable belief that the area appeared open and accessible to the public. Gabriel, she added, had no intent to trespass and was not arrested, was not fingerprinted, and has an exemplary record, saying my client has worked diligently to build an exemplary academic and personal record, that the continued prosecution of this violation arising from an honest mistake serves neither the interest of justice nor the public interest. Dismissal should avoid imposing unnecessary consequences on a young man who has demonstrated exceptional character and achievement and who poses no risk to a community. That's a mouthful, child. Now, people who, which is where I got this story from, has reached out to reps for The View, the New Rochelle City Court, and the DA's office for more information. Now, Sonny and Gabriel shares Gabriel and a daughter, Paloma, who's 20, with husband Emmanuel Hostin. Gabriel is scheduled to appear in court on July 31st, per TMZ and USA Today, with Sonny listed as his attorney. So I'll keep you all abreast of this story as it develops. Damn, I see there's even more stuff coming out with this whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively mess. But I'll have to talk about that another time. So yeah, shout out to you, Sonny, and your son Gabriel. Oh, let me stop. He cute though. So I was like, look, if I was in trouble and I had a mother for attorney, of course I would have her on speed dial to get me out of a situation. But this seemed like an honest mistake, unlike some of these other people, like what that happened with that the little black kid from Mississippi who ended up washing ashore on that island, and all his little white friends decided to lawyer up. That now they need to be held to the highest courts of the law with what's going on with them. But if y'all could use y'all mess over there to get out of situations, and even if Gabriel did do something, if Sonny can get him out of a situation, I don't feel no ways tied. Other people using the powers of their parents who are in law or whatever to get their kids out of situations. So why we colors can't do it too? So yeah, I say all this to say I want to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Way too many people are forgiving. He's not worthy of forgiveness. Oh, you said, oh, read that. Sure, he's an actor, but he had to know the plot and what would come with it. If not, then the privileged background I've heard he's from has kept him out of touch. Oh yeah, being from the whole Arm and Hammer situation. That's why I said, child, sometimes Whoopi just be showing her out of touchness. Whoopi's stances lately have been from a place where she does not separate her own experience from the incident they're speaking of, because yesterday she went on a rant defending Nepo babies. Oh, because her daughters won? Because of the whole Gracie Abrams situation. I didn't see that story floating around. I didn't watch that clip. Maybe I need to watch it. But yeah, all of a sudden now you want to come out with the whole Nepo baby thing because your daughter is one, and you felt guilty because you didn't have the greatest relationship with Alex back when you were trying to start off your career as a comedian and eventually a movie star. So she tried to tread lightly, and it's like, and that's kind of like I will tell you, that's one of the gripes that I have with people, that people cannot separate their own experience from situations. Or I don't know if this might be the same thing, but unless they experience it themselves, your experience doesn't matter. Because I've had that shit happen to me too. When I was talking about that I worked the event, what was it? The Rufus Du Sol concert, worked 3 out of the 4. The first night, it was a shit show because I had so many people coming in with fake tickets and all kinds of other stuff trying to sneak into my area. And I'm just like, at one point, I had to call the supervisor twice. I'm like, what is going on? And I never have to call the supervisor anything for anything because I normally handle it myself. But it just got to a point where it was too much craziness going on. And then the good thing about it, one lady was loving that I was kicking so many damn people out. She tipped me $80. So I live for that one with that whole situation. And then people was telling me how much, giving me congratulations. Oh, you do such a great job and you're the best. Da, da, da. So I was like, oh, and I was loving all the compliments. So, and then the next day she put me in the same section. She was like, well, look, It's not my fault you do such a good job. I said, okay, now I'm gonna start sucking. So not dick, but I'm gonna start sucking at my job. But I can't be like that. I always do what I need to do because that's what I get paid to do. But what irritated me, to get to the point, I had a coworker who was like, oh, I was in that section and it was cool, it was fine. I was like, so all the shit I was telling you that it was like a bad experience or people was getting on my damn nerves and it was so annoying. But because you didn't experience it, it's like you just diminishing my feelings in that situation. So it pisses me off when people do that. That it's like, unless they can relate to something, they can't see it. They gotta experience it. And then when they're experiencing, I'm supposed to give a shit. But I can't get the same energy back. Okay. Because that whole thing about her, and I was like, and I didn't even have to watch it, and I already know where she went on that. It's like, yeah, you defending Nepo babies because you're a rich lady whose daughter ain't never had to work a day in her damn life. She's going to be forever supported by her mother. So, yeah, your daughter Alex is a Nepo baby. You had to put her in Sister Act too. I hope Wisconsin throws Elon in jail. Well, I hope he does too, but he might not. He probably will avoid coming to Wisconsin. Gabriel Hostin wears a sock. Shut up. Well, let me find out you know his shoe size. Well, you know it's probably. I would not be surprised if Gabriel's big. But look, we could talk about him. He's 24, just like I could drool over Rocco Richie too, because Rocco Richie looked like a snack as well. The boy is 25 years old, so we could talk about he grown now. Same thing with Gabriel Hostin. He's 24, so we could talk about him. Because I'd be like, ew, he a child. No, he's not. That frontal lobe is already developed on both of them, so they grown. Now, if we was about 18-year-olds, then I'd be like, ugh. But you in your mid-20s at this point. You came in with that. He got a size 13 shoe, just saying. Anyway, now speaking of The View, let's talk about one of the former View co-hosts, Rosie O'Donnell, who decided to throw a little shade at Donald Trump. And I'm here for it because what she basically was saying, I've been saying this for a long time. So she made a shocking prediction about Donald John Trump's future. The comedian said she do not believe the president will live to see the 2028 election. And she said this while sitting, well, she wasn't there, but she was like via satellite. But she did, I think Jake Tapper interviewed her on his show, The Lead, over on CNN. And she appeared on the show on Friday, July 10th. And she said that, yeah, he won't live to 2028. Then the topic came up when Jake Tapper asked about her plans to return to the United States, because you know, Rosie O'Donnell currently lives in Ireland with, I believe she has a daughter who has special needs. And is it either special needs or she might be of the libidical spectrum? I think non-binary. So I don't know. I may have to look that up, but it's either one of the two. But yeah, she left and she lives in Ireland, but she pops up every now and again because the other day two things came out. One, she revealed that she quit her talk show after her bank account had $100 million in it. That was one story. I was like, I'll just bring this up in passing because I thought about making it a topic. And then two, she said her daughter who's in jail, you know, the meth head, the Methodist. She said that was the first conversation that they had, Chelsea. That was the first conversation that they had in like a decade, where they were, you know, and it's crazy how y'all had to be in, what was it, behind a glass on a phone in order to have a conversation. So that's unfortunate, but sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. But anyway, I do have that clip of her talking about the Trumpster over on Jake Tapper's show over on the CNN. We're going to watch that clip. Going to make sure all the audio and everything is good. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk. Please hold.
It's not like fascism might come here. Fascism has already arrived.
So the one-woman show is Common Knowledge, starts July 22nd off Broadway. And then later in the summer, you're also going to be substitute hosting on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Rosie O'Donnell, so great having you. Thank you so much.
Wait, what happened? Oh, wait. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot to rewind a damn clip. A mess. Forgive me. It happens. Hold on. Let's put it, because I was like, wait a minute. This is a 3-minute video. There's no way in hell that it was done that quick.
Why is he still so fixated on you? You're being quiet in Ireland.
Well, I'm not being all that quiet on social media. You
Right.
know, I'm standing up for
Fair
the country
enough.
that I love so much, and I'm calling him out at every turn where his blatant criminal behavior in the White House needs to be addressed. And, you know, he had a very long run of lies with the Celebrity Apprentice, and those people who are watching and believing that, it set up a cult-like status for him where his people don't care about anything he does, apparently even the sexual abuse of children. And that's a line that I never thought we would get to in this country, that there could be such a mediocre man with such horrible, horrible reputation could be running this great nation of ours. And I think it's the worst thing that ever happened to the United States. And if we don't wake up soon, it's going to be too late.
Well, sorry to disappoint you, Rosie, but slavery was the worst thing that happened to the United States. And we've had a lot of worse moments than Trump. But yes, with this man dismantling our democracy and the Constitution and all the things that he's been doing, and the Democrats sitting idly by letting it happen because they're worried about losing their seats. So they go along to get along when they should be out here fighting against these fascists and all this other stuff. I mean, we have progressive Democrats that are doing it, but not necessarily the corporate centrist ones. And so, but I understand what you're saying, but we got to call out all the people that's not doing a part in this whole situation and letting this man do all the criminal activities and just sitting by and just allowing it to happen.
When you posted about leaving the U.S., you said you might return when, quote, it's safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America. Does that mean that when Trump leaves office, presumably January 2029, you'll come back, or it depends on who wins the election in 2028?
Yes. Well, I don't think, Jake, that he is going to survive that long. All the medical doctors that you can get accurate opinions of what's happening to him, because his demise is visible and apparent to everyone who is not willfully blind. I mean, he called Zelensky Putin. He makes the kind of mistakes that you would forgive at Thanksgiving dinner, but you would never let grandpa cut the turkey because it might be dangerous, because he doesn't know what he's saying.
Don't forget, he referred to the Islamic Republic of Japan, I think, as well.
Correct. I mean, we can sit here and name them. There are so many obvious understanding of his dementia and how it's taking over. And I know there are millions of Americans who have lived through parents and loved ones going through exactly what he's going through. And everyone just sits around and goes, "Fodiototo," you know? And I don't understand it. I think my displeasure with the Democratic Party's attack of him and the urgency by which they need to break the glass in case of emergency. It is an emergency. It's not like fascism might come here. Fascism has already arrived.
So the one-woman show is Common Knowledge, starts July 22nd off Broadway, and then later in the summer you're also going to be
Okay, so we already saw that part because I made the mistake of not rewinding the clip because I had to watch it earlier. But yes, she is correct that fascism is already here. So when people try to sit and act like that, oh no, fascism is on its way. No, it's already here. They're already dismantling everything. They're already stealing money. There's a lot of money that, and like, what was it? Doge closed, and all of a sudden there's money missing. So this is what's been happening. They've been coming in, they're looting the treasury, they're stealing all our shit, and the world is on fire, and the world being the United States, I should just say the US is on fire, and everybody's just acting like everything is normal, and we are in an existential crisis. And I truly believe, like, yes, the man does have some type of brain rot, dementia. We've seen the pictures of him out and about recently. He just posted something on his social media saying on another that he went to the doctor and had a clean bill of health. Who goes to the doctor 6 times a month? I mean, not a month, in 6 months. Because what is it like? Well, technically it's July, but he's gone to the doctor 6 times this year. I'll just say that. Who goes to the doctor that many times? Nobody goes to the doctor that many times unless there's something going on with you. The bruising on the hand, that comes from the medication that he has to take that's helping out with his cognitive issues. He got the cankles, the swollen ankles. You already see like his ass is the size of a snack table. He is morbidly obese. He eats horribly. And then now we got a whole situation with the FDA and the moron, that sound like he got a scrub bud stuck in his throat, RFK Jr. And now panicking because there's some parasite going around with people eating Taco Bell and getting the shits. So, or just the fruits and the vegetables. So now I was hoping I was gonna have me a chef salad for lunch tomorrow when I go to work. Now I'm afraid I'm gonna get the shits. Like, Jesus, I can't eat nothing now without worrying about possibly ending up in the hospital for 2 days for dehydration. But the good part about it is it's like the original Ozempic. I could lose 6 pounds getting that damn virus. So it's like, so we in a crisis right now. So I don't think that Rosie O'Donnell is saying anything that is remotely threatening to the president, whatever the case is. There have been many reports, many a doctor that have said that they do not think this man is going to survive to 2028, let alone make it to the end of 2026. So already know the universe comes in threes. We already lost Lady G. Allegedly, that other queen, Mitch McConnell, ain't in the union no more, but they trying to keep that shit secret until mid-August, so that way they don't have to, rush a new primary or somebody up in there. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But there's that, and then could it be that he's the third? We'll just have to see. But she's not the only one that has been saying this. There's been a lot of people out here that have been not hoping for it. I mean, child, quiet as it's kept. Iran want him dead. I mean, you recently heard the thing about the tweet with the prime minister, president, somebody over there, because after they had buried one of the other guys, they were saying that stuff. I've been watching the videos where they talking about, but when you and Netanyahu lunatic out here declaring war and just going around killing people, you don't think there's going to be retaliation? I mean, this will be like a repeat of 9/11, because they made it seem like the Saudi Arabia, well, they said it wasn't Saudi Arabia, it was Saudi Arabia that threw them planes up in there, but y'all had us believing it was Iraq and all the weapons of mass destruction and all them other lies. Come to find out that, we was over there picking and picking and picking. Then people got tired of our shit and retaliated. Hence why what happened during 9/11. So when we start to realize that we ain't so innocent in a lot of the things that happens here, because the media lies, we know who the true overlords are. A lot of these people that work in the banks and all this other stuff, they're the ones, we have rich people financing a lot of our politics and all the crazy that happens with that. Because now we see all the oligarchs and everything, they're the ones who are really benefiting from all of this stuff. So I don't feel no ways tired of what Rosie said. And I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think that she has a point? And what she said, that it was like, yeah, well, I mean, we all know the man got dementia. Especially when he was going around talking about the the Islamic State of Japan. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It doesn't even exist. And then you call him Zelensky Putin. First of all, Zelensky got hair. He don't have a bald spot. And he's much better looking than Putin. Putin just look like some big-eared Magilla gorilla looking motherfucker. So that just, it's always the ugly people that just want to do damage to the world. That one, Trump, Stephen Miller, all the ugly ones, just mad for what? I don't know. Oh, because they got picked on as kids or something? Who knows? But I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. God save the queen, the fascist regime. It made you a moron. Potential age. Well, the Sex Pistols was on to something. All right, now. So now, let's get into our next topic. And let's talk about Tyler Perry. So y'all already know Tyler Perry's caught up in some mess with this Mario Rodriguez dude who was an extra in one of his films that is accusing Tyler of being inappropriate with him while they were working together or whatever the case is. And Mario people are saying that they want to bring up Tyler's sexuality as part of the questions. I mean, you would think that would be the questions that would be asked, because if a man is accusing another man of assault, I mean, wouldn't you think that there's some gay stuff up in there in some sort of way. And we're not going to sit up here and say gay people don't assault people, because they do. Women can assault women can assault men can assault women can assault men. So it doesn't necessarily matter. Now, I'm going to say that it's mostly men who do most of the assaulting to the opposite sex. And most assaulters turn out to be heterosexual. But then you get these people who are deeply closeted, which some people would accuse Tyler Perry of being, who are deeply closeted and don't know how to express their real desires. So they have to resort to payment plans, Lady Graham, or, prostitution, Lady Graham, or some others in Hollywood, and sometimes abuse, the diddler, in order to get their little kinks or whatever off. Because regular smegular sex with rich folk, that's boring. They've seen it, done it, wore the t-shirt. They probably like, okay, fuck me with your toe or something. They need real crazy kinky stuff in order to go. You see, Christy Nolan's husband Brian had to go around wearing big old titties to get his rocks off, because secretly he wanted to be a woman. And all that damn surgery that Christy got wasn't enough. So he had to go start wearing fake boobs and stuff. But nevertheless, so Tyler said he ain't got nothing to hide. And he's pushing back against the questions regarding his sexuality. So Tyler is escalating his defense in the SA lawsuit brought against him, alleging in a new court filing that his accuser attempted to broker a multi-million-dollar settlement and turned to aggressive legal maneuvering only after being rebuffed. According to TMZ, which obtained the documents filed by Perry's legal team, the director maintains he has no intention of settling. The filings respond to, well, probably because he got the same attorney as Jay-Z, and if Jay-Z can get away with it, so can I, right? Now, the filings responded to a motion from Mario Rodriguez, who reportedly asked the court to sanction Perry for failing to appear at a deposition. Rodriguez had indicated he intended to question Perry about whether he is attracted to men. Perry's team dismissed that framing entirely, arguing that he had already agreed to sit for a deposition and rejecting the suggestion that he would be uncomfortable answering such questions. Per TMZ's reporting, Perry accused Rodriguez of holding a backwards belief that he should be ashamed of his sexual orientation, insisting he is not. He further argued that the line of questioning is irrelevant to the case, categorizing the underlying logic as a bigoted stereotype that assumes that men attracted to men is more likely to have assaulted other men. Well, yeah, that's to a point, because I don't want people to think that, because gays are nothing but a bunch of damn perverts and rapists and assaulters and things, because a lot of us are not. So we don't need to perpetuate that stereotype. However, Tyler Perry is notorious for perpetuating stereotypes in his damn movies. So, and especially when it comes to the gay ones, a lot of your gay characters in your shows and your movies are self-hating. A lot of them play into that. They secretly mess with some wife's husband, or they're in the closet. Like, a lot of it is real. It comes across as very much rough, kind of like, Tyler, is this you that you trying to work out them demons through these characters, and you does not, you still at 50-something years old still ain't coming to them terms, but because your predominant audience is of the Bible and the church and all that other stuff, this is the little line that you got to toe. Now, I'm not saying you got to be ashamed of your sexuality, but that's kind of like the vibe that you give when it comes to how you are in real life. Now, I don't know if you are homosexual. I don't know if you are bisexual. But if you are, and it happens, the dirt comes out in the wash, then just come out and say it. And if you happen to lose an audience, oh well. Because quiet as it's kept, a lot of them people that you think is all about the church and this, that, like, I have aunts and shit that be like, oh, they think Tyler Perry is a part of the community. So the people, like, if you decide to come out tomorrow, people are like, okay, now what else is new? We've been new this. Like, that's what they're going to say. There probably will be some people that's not even in shock, because there are people that will look the other way until it's put in front of their face. But the skepticism and the rumors always been lingering. But if Mario was trying to make him feel like he's ashamed, then I'm starting to look at you sideways, Mr. Rodriguez, because it's like, well, what you got to hide? Are you secretly a homosexual too, or into dudes? And because I truly believe, and I've said this before, I truly believe y'all had a thing going on. And then when he stopped trying to pay for whatever he was paying for, then all of a sudden you want to cry assault. Oh, he was doing this and he was doing that, but you was with the shits when he was taking care of you. So that's what I truly believe, because you give me opportunistic tease. But then again, Tyler Perry likes to play up in that too. Like if you using these type of guys that kind of got that opportunistic type of vibe going on, a lot of y'all don't be thinking clearly. You be thinking with your little head instead of your big head, and you let your emotions and your horniness get the best of you, and then you even go after the ones that's problematic, that got a little trouble around them, because you thinking with your money and your access and your power that you can control the situation. But these little stunt queens, they be having their little ways about going about themselves too. They got agendas. They got ulterior motives. And I truly believe he played that up. So y'all both, I believe, got some shit. Y'all are both in the shits in so many ways. Now, per TMZ's reporting, Perry accused Rodriguez of holding a backwards belief that he should be ashamed of the orientation. Perry's central claim in the filing is that Rodriguez's court activity amounts to pressure tactics. He alleges that after he declined a multi-million-dollar settlement proposal, wait, hold on. I gotta read that. He alleged that after he declined a multi-million-dollar settlement proposal, Rodriguez responded by filing the deposition motion in an effort to damage his reputation and force his hand. In turn, Perry is asking the court to sanction Rodriguez $7,300 for what he describes as abuse of the discovery process. The dispute stems from a $77 million lawsuit Rodriguez filed against Perry alleging sexual assault. TMZ reported that Rodriguez claims the two men met at a gym in 2015 and that Perry later cast him in a film before he alleges assaulting him at his home on more than one occasion. Perry has consistently denied the allegations. His legal team has previously argued that Rodriguez maintained contact with him for years afterwards, contending that the accusations surfaced only after Perry stopped providing him with financial support. And did not say that. I would say basically like when the money stopped flowing in, all of a sudden he wanted to run around accusing Tyler, that's his last name, but accusing Tyler of assault. So it's like, you was with the shits because your bank account was getting filled every week. But now, when the well ran dry, and you should have been smart with your coins, because if y'all gonna be out here acting like rent boys or gay for pays, or I don't know, maybe he is gay for pay, or maybe he just was with the shits, but because of the whole masculine presenting situation, whatever game you gonna play and you getting financial gain from it, gain from the situation, we'll just put it that way, you knew what you was getting yourself into. And I don't want to sit up here and say like, well, nobody deserves to be assaulted. But it just seems like a lot of this is stemming from stuff was going down between y'all. And when Tyler moved on to the next butch queen, now you want to come out here accusing somebody of assault. But we'll see how all this turns out when it goes to trial, if it does go to trial. But this is the latest in this messy merry-go-round known as Perrygate. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Because, and Tyler, you really need to leave these pretty boys alone, because we see the type of men you be putting up in your shows and they can't act worth a damn, but you keep putting them in shit. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It's a Freudian. A Freudian slip. I can't stand Tyler's gay characters in Beauty in Black. They enable Black homophobia. The main family has a gay son who can't play without getting high. Their gay lawyer keeps his gayness. Didn't I say that? That the problem I have with his characters, and that's what, I don't really watch a lot of his stuff, but I've seen little clips here and there, and I've always noticed that his characters always are perpetuating Black stereotypes, and the gay characters perpetuate stereotypes, which I'm like, so is this a reflection of you, where it's like one of the characters is DL? Because I remember there was one, what was it, LaToya Luckett? Wasn't her man messing with another man behind her back, and she found out? Because it was like, oh, did you get rid of her yet? Yeah, I seen that scene where it was like, I forget, what show was that? Was it Beauty in Black? Where it was just like, yeah, her husband was messing around with another man behind her back, and she even confronted the man that was allegedly sleeping with her man. And then when he called him while she was there, she snatched the phone and she overheard what he said. So a lot of that happens. And then there was that other show where they had the little gay queen on there, where they had the white boyfriend. So a lot of that does play it, where you say like the gay son who can't play without getting high, so he probably does the party and play stuff. And you already know there's an epidemic amongst black homosexual men and meth. Y'all already know that's a big epidemic, especially what happened with what was his name? The politician that just got busted again with meth and weed in a hotel room when the police was called. Because apparently he was ODing or something or another. They had to call 911 on him because it was a mess with him and his drugs. And then he went on Tamron Hall. And then when you talk about a family has a gay son who can't play without getting high, the gay lawyer keeps his gayness a secret. Then you got the DL daddy and all this other stuff. It's like, child, please. I think Tyler's affiliation with the black church and older people is why. Absolutely. I truly believe that. That's because of the black church. Once you denounce yourself from that foolishness of the black church and that slave mentality and that chokehold they have on you, but he's not. He's invested way too much money. He's invested way too much into the black church that he can't denounce himself from that. So he still wants to just be this self-hating alleged homosexual and continues to battle these demons out through the characters that he creates in his shows and his movies. So I definitely feel that's what that is. Now, speaking of somebody who might be battling gay demons, let's talk about Stefon Diggs. So apparently there's this story that's still going around about Stefon Diggs and Chris Griffith, who is accusing Stefon of flashing his peen towards him, SAing him, and there was a story about, I think, his brother and a bunch of people beat him up in the elevator or something or another. So yeah, he said he got receipts in regards of text messages. And even Cardi B decided to jump into the conversation, which is like, bitch, would you take, I mean, I love Cardi B with Bird. Please take care of your damn children and stay out of other people's business. But she, of course, had to assert herself in the conversation. So, as y'all know, the internet loves receipts almost as much as it loves drama. And apparently, the latest episode of Who Has the Screenshots stars Stefon Diggs and his accuser, Chris Blake Griffith. Diggs is challenging Chris to release the alleged 100 pages of text messages submitted as evidence in their legal dispute. Well, if it's been submitted as evidence, why would I post the evidence on social media? Y'all really are some birds. He said, Mama's a N-word lying on my name because he got caught stealing. Remember that episode of Good Times when Janet Jackson got caught stealing? Every time somebody writes that, I'll be thinking of that bitch track, Watch Me Serve. He said, I ain't paid a dime. This is what he wrote, claiming Griffith used the apartment building and accusing people of running with a misleading headline and said, okay, post the name before calling Griffith a liar. Now, Griffith fired back saying, I've kept it overly diplomatic, but Diggs' comments ignites a desire inside me to reveal more. He referenced his lawsuit involving his apartment complex, an alleged robbery, and attack, and a police report. Griffith ended his response by telling Diggs, I'll see you when it matters most, before a judge and jury. Now, the exchange appears to follow confusion surrounding Griffith's settled lawsuit involving Diggs's brother and an apartment complex, which some mistook for Diggs' case against Griffith. Chris has long alleged that Stefon SA'd him and also ordered his brother and another person to come beat him up. Stefon has denied the allegation and has accused Chris of defamation. Now, Chris also fired back at Belle Khali's Almanzar, a.k.a. Cardi B, after she cast doubt on the allegations against her on-again, off-again boyfriend. Cardi went on off on Chris on social media barrage Tuesday, claiming he's changed his story about Stefon multiple times. She alleged his initial story did not include any claim of Stefon taking his penis out in front of him, but that ended up as a claim in his lawsuit. She said she hated how she was defending Stefon, who she was currently beefing with. Then why would you? This is where you stay out of grown folks' business. If you were not there, if you don't know what happened, if this probably, because I don't remember, when did this happen? Probably before she even got with Stefon. So if you weren't there to bear witness, if you don't know what's going on, why are you asserting yourself in a conversation that has nothing to do with you? Focus on being single. Hopefully, please tell me she's not hunching that fine ass soccer player. Because it's like, and then knowing her being so damn fertile, she'll probably try to get a baby out of him. Because you ain't get, I mean, not that she needs the money, but you ain't gonna get no coin out of, Offset. You definitely ain't getting nothing out of Stefon. So I don't know why she's asserting herself in this situation. Let Stefon deal with his case. You don't need to be asserting yourself in here like you Judge Judy. So Cardi is basically alleging that Chris was obsessed with Stefon. Now, Chris quote one of the posts and quickly responded in the comment section. He said, "I have too much respect for Barty and women in general for me to say anything disparaging back to her, but mama, please take off the blinders." He said, "My time around that group of people predates you." See, now I know it was what it said. I said did this happen before she got in a relationship or when they was in a relationship? And my thing is, if you weren't there when if all this happened before you was even in the picture, mind your business. This ain't got nothing to do with you. And that's for anybody. If something predates me, I ain't getting involved in the situation because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. And people think just because you spread your legs and lay down with somebody that you truly know them. Did Chrissy Nome know her husband like wearing big old titty plates before she decided to divorce? She probably did, because you know how a lot of these trad wives are. A lot of them be knowing that their husbands be out here messing with children, messing with messing with homosexuals. You know, they just be with the trad shits. So if you're not necessarily aware of what your man was doing before you got to him, then mind your business. It's the same thing like let's not act like there's no athletes in sports that sleep with men. Because there's a lot of athletes that basketball, football, soccer, rugby, baseball, what other sport? Those are the sports I can think of. Hockey. They all get down in some way or another. You can't sit up there and act like there's no homosexuals secretly in sports or men who mess around with men in sports, because they exist. And you don't know who you was zooming before you got with him. He was probably zooming you at the time, but he probably was zooming men before he got with you. So you don't know people. But anyway, so he said, "My time around that group of people predates you." He scoffed at her claims he stole from Stefon and his team, claiming he was the one who was robbed by Stefon's associates. He also added, "You know how embarrassing it is to have to face this foolishness every day." And it's like nobody, and this is why a lot of times men don't want to come forward, because it's like bad enough men are emasculated by even admitting that they were assaulted by another man or whatever the case is, because of how American society is extremely homophobic in a lot of ways. So him having to come forward and fight for his character or whatever the case is, let them just fight this shit out in court. That's all we need to say. And Cardi, like I said, focus on you, focus on whatever it is you're doing. Stay out of grown folk business. But here we go. Cardi just can't spend 5 minutes of not trying to be a goddamn hood booger. It's like, girl, you ain't lived in the hood in a long time. Leave that hood shit behind. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, this latest mess regarding Stefon Diggs and his essay Accuser and all the other mess that's going on regarding this? Oh, Pop Child, I'm probably gonna be talking ad nauseum about this circus. Today's show has just been messy. A lot of messy topics. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I like Cardi, but this victim intimidation, we called it We called out Nikki. Got it. Absolutely. Speaking of which, I just saw a story that Nikki's being sued. I meant to put that on the show. I'm gonna have to say that for Thursday when I come back with a whole new episode. But I heard about there was something about Nikki being sued for not paying for something or another. I gotta look into that story. And I'll probably bring that on when I come back and do another episode. But I do agree. It's like we're gonna call out Nikki, we gotta call out Card. You know me. I am an equal opportunity person. If anybody is in the news, we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, because I like somebody that I'm not going to hold them accountable on things. I ain't biased in that way. Everybody gets it on this show. Kind of like everybody got it in that last Evil Dead movie. That she's embarrassed because the victim is a man. She don't want to believe Stefon. And that's why I said, like, you'd be surprised. A lot of you girls out here who be out here with the homophobic shit, y'all be surprised. Yep, a lot of y'all may have slept with a man who is into men. Who's that's why I said don't be homophobic. Because the worst thing about it is, well, I won't say that's the worst thing, but you know what's gonna happen? That karma is real. You will get it back in your kids. So, or the man you sleeping with. It's been a while since this went viral, but any thoughts on? I did hear something about that. Didn't Fantano do a review on Model Land? I totally forgot about that book. And maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe Model Land was before its time. Also, I know some people was like, you know what? This season of Project Runway is hella problematic because y'all was shady with that last episode. They got 3 people from the world of Drag Race in the bottom and 1 girl. I said, ooh, y'all shady. So Plain Jane is in the bottom, Q is in the bottom. Jeffrey, who was a designer for the Drag Race girls who used to date Alexis Mateo back in the day, and Alexis said that she was once upon a time was actually supposed to be on she was actually supposed to be on the season of Project Runway. She's like, I don't design. Why the fuck would you want me on there? So y'all did that on purpose. Project Runway being messy for the ratings. And from what I've heard, Jeffrey was kind of a toxic boyfriend. And they got some regular girl in there, and they said one person is only going to make it. I was like, goddamn, Plain Jane can't catch a break. She got eliminated early on House of Villains. And she's going to probably get eliminated early on Project Runway because I don't know what the fuck that outfit was she walked with down on the runway. And Q's outfit was ugly. I didn't like it at all. This one, Plain Jane has somebody with like a spiked purse and spiked nipples. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, you can put that on a man little poor and it would have been fabulous. But bringing that down a runway for Project Runway, it just looked tacky. A straight friend in college said his father told him fags are for fun, but females are. I mean, isn't that how a lot of these men think? That not fags are for fun, but females are for family. That is hilarious. So I'm going to start using that. But in a way, that's kind of like how men do look at it. It's like, if I want to sleep with a man, it's not that I'm going to settle down with one. That's just to get my nut off. A lot of men think that way. And then, if you're going to get married because of societal norms or whatever, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have the kids, I'm going to do all this other stuff. But every now and again, when I'm out of town or whatever the case is, I'm going to play with the boys. But here's the thing. If y'all gonna be out here playing with these boys, y'all better make sure y'all being safe out in these damn streets. And then we bringing those diseases back home to your wife. Now, I'm not trying to start no rumors and say like, the gay man disease, the nasty woman disease, or whatever the case is. I don't know. I was thinking of the color purple when I said nasty woman disease. But men, if y'all gonna carry, y'all need to be safe out here. Because you never know. When y'all be out here hunting, a lot of these boys don't be getting checked for STIs and other things, and be out here doing them chemsex drugs. A post went viral on Twitter, and I had no idea it was circulating until Fantano reacted to it. I found a free PNG file of the book, and I kind of want to read it, but it's getting coyote ugly. Do we really believe Tyra Banks? Chill. No. It said ghostwriters exist in the literature world. Yeah, exactly. There are people who you tell them the story and they formulate everything in the word. Not everybody has the ability to sit down and actually write something and make it literary. They need a little help. from their friends. I was thinking that song because that's I think that's a song that Bon Jovi opens with on their residency that they're doing in New York. Hi, a little help from my friend. Y'all know that song? It was the theme song for Wonder Years. Remember that show? Anyway, let's get back. Speaking of show, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about the housewives now. It's getting severe over there, over in RHOA, because the women are carrying. It's like Shamea and Porsha are getting into it over there. They had like a little scenario where they were talking about some stuff going on in their personal life. And then all of a sudden it became yo mama this and yo mama that. And this became a mess. And Porsha has responded on social media because the episode aired. So before we even get to it, look, Bravo, don't mess with me. This is fair use that I'm about to use. So NBC, Universal, Bravo, all y'all, cut the shits. We have something called fair use that we should be allowed to use clips if we're going to be talking about stuff on the show. So yeah, we're going to play this clip where Shamea and Porsha, things got nasty between them during a little dinner session. And then we're going to come back and talk where the ladies were talking about, what was it? Oh, there was accusations of cheating. So we'll just let the clip play and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Man, I don't give a what our parents did because they were friends prior to us.
But you posted about my mom. But you didn't post about what your mom did. You want to talk about that?
I don't know their relationship.
Should we talk about that?
I don't know that.
But you knew enough to tell that my mom bought your mom's daycare.
Girl, everybody knows that. It's not a secret.
Yeah, but everybody doesn't know that your mom tried to sleep with my dad.
Shamea came to dinner with one in the chamber. This just wasn't the one to unload.
Oh, man. She's about to explode. Porsha don't play about her mama.
Oh, my God. Where is my drink at? You and your mother are low-down dirty snakes.
No, you and your mama are low-down dirty snakes.
Yes,
and it comes down from generation to generation. You are slithering dirty snakes. And I've kept my mouth closed long enough. I said I'm holding my mouth on it because I don't want to do that, and I don't want to embarrass her.
Oh, wait, who you gonna embarrass? Me? If my mama did something like that, baby, that would be on my mama. It's not true.
But every chance you get, you bring my mama. Why would you do that?
I've been sitting on this because I knew it already. And I took that home to my mom.
And what'd your mom say?
She was flabbergasted. You know why?
Wow.
Because your mom slept with your father's brother.
Hold on, not Porsha knowing the word flabbergasted.
Girl, stop.
Yes, he did.
Girl, cut it the
mom was dating. My mom was dating your father's brother.
You sound like we're in Utah.
Your mother slept with him.
What's his name? Now tell me this. Which brother?
I don't know which brother.
I wouldn't give a hoo-hoo if his name was Jesus. If you said my mama slept with one of my uncles, I know that's a lie. The correct response is absolutely not. You are lying. Not which one.
Do you not know that everybody and their mama have told me about some shit? You said, they told your glam said that. You said, oh, she on the show now, and it's anything. Everything's off limits. We ain't friends no more. We co-workers.
That's bullshit.
She's literally trying to say anything to get a reaction out of me. My mind frame was to move forward, but hers was to be like a snake in the grass. This was absolutely a premeditated attack to try to trigger me.
Why would I lie?
What you don't know?
All right, so with that being said, Chair, it got ugly after that, after the whole episode aired. It's unfortunate that, you know, these two who used to be really good friends have resorted to this whole situation. And I've heard people say that Porsha is just mad because Shamea has the life that Porsha has always wanted. I think Shamea is also married to an African. She lives in a big, beautiful house. She's got, you know, she's successful in her own right. And Portia's actually out there having a big, she is the Nene of the show. Like, she is the centerpiece of the RHOA girls. And some people feel like she's not really carrying the peach. She's not living up to the whole peachation of the situation like all the other girls in the past have. I don't know. I haven't really been watching this season because I'm just like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, and some of the arguments and fights that y'all be having, it's just some bullshit. And it just hasn't pulled me in enough for me to even want to be excited over whatever issues that these people are going through. Like, maybe I just feel like, and I think I've told y'all this many a times, I've kind of outgrown the drama on RHOA. Like, I don't really particularly care. So I know some people are like, well, why are you talking about this? Because it got ugly. And so she basically slammed Shamea on Twitter after she claimed her mom, Diane Williams, had tried to sleep with her dad on Sunday's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, after firing back on the show, alleging that Shamea's mom, Sarah Morton, had slept with her uncle, Porsha, who's 45, took to social media to accuse Shamea, who's 44, of taking her feud way too far, while also suggesting that Shamea had cheated on her husband, Gerald Mwangi, with multiple men, including her manager and a pastor. Like, girl. So Porsha said, wait, just catching up here in the Bahamas, yo, I can't believe there are actually people talking about my mother, and put mother in caps, and mentioning my daughter in a negative way. Was this really worth it? Shamea took this way too far. You're not innocent while you've got people discussing my mom because of a lie you told on this show. If we're going to discuss it, keep it between us. Now let's discuss you sleeping with your manager who's married to one of your high school friends, as well as a pastor in Decatur who's 100% on your roster, along with many more. So now they run around just doing the whole tit for tat situation. Porsha also reshared a couple of posts from fans who commented on her decision to ban her daughter, Pilar, who's 7, from visiting Shamea's home. She said, and if Shamela, if Shamela is holding all this hate in her heart for Porsha, why would you think we would want to bring her child around her? One person asked. And she put, especially if the grandma is there with animosity towards Porsha and her mama. Girl, GTFOH. My baby not going over there. And this is what another agreed as Porsha reposted the message. So this is how messy things are getting. And it's sad and unfortunate that y'all doing all this for a TV show. Y'all and I on a TV show, like we were talking about yesterday with Lady Bunny talking about the beef between, what was it, Angeria and Silky, and the fact that, yeah, there's no script, there's no plot, there's none of the stuff, that y'all literally bring people on these shows so that way they can create conflict and drama for ratings. And so this is where we are with this, where y'all allowed a show to come between y'all friendship, because that's what it feels like. Like, we didn't really need to know, like, how did we get here? How did we get to this point, sis? That's what I want to know. And hopefully Andy asked this, because I believe they filmed the reunion already. I hope Andy asked this at the reunion. Because how did y'all get to this point? At one point, y'all were real cool friends. Y'all were ace boon coons. Y'all were really good friends. And now look what happened. Y'all can't stand the sight of each other, but y'all over here arguing, fighting, and bickering all over the show. So I guess we'll have to find out what happens once we get to the reunion and all this other stuff. But I do think that there's a couple more episodes to go. But anyway, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Shamea and Porsha fighting over here on the Real Housewives of... Oh, hold on. That wasn't what I wanted to pull. Fighting over here on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I should have been messy, be like, are you team Porsha, or you know how they be doing over there on that other show? Was it Drag Race? Are you team this one? Are you team that one? It was like a mess. Anyway, let's get to the comments. Through that entire story on Stefon Diggs, I kept hearing Janet, not the doing the bending. Is that what it is? Okay, that's all. Like, yeah, who doing the bending in that relationship? Connor's story is going to be in Billie Eilish's film debut. He's making more movies than his co-star. Also see that he co-star. But that's because I feel like Connor's story has been able to figure out how to navigate through this thing called entertainment, whereas we see Hudson Williams is just spiraling out of control. And we have that story coming up, but yeah, Connor's story, he's out here sitting front row at fashion shows. He's hanging out with Madonna. He's in a Billie Eilish movie. I did hear about that. The Billie Eilish thing. Notice how it's just him and everybody leaves Connor and Francois alone. They're literal pushing him out just so he can breathe. Wait, what does that even mean? It's that I'm also convinced Lambs are extremely pissed that Madonna is back to being relevant. Well, look, if Mariah actually put out an album people gave a shit about, she'd get that sense of relevancy. That little monster in his official review saying Confessions 2 offered nothing new. Well, clearly they need to clean them damn ears because they wasn't listening. Because what you need to do is blame Gaga for abandoning Mayhem. She really didn't put her blood, sweat, and tears in that record. You came out with Abracadabra, everybody was living. Then you try to release another single, nobody cared. I mean, Disease was the buzz single. We got that. Which is similar to I Feel So Free. You want to set the mood and let people know what is to come from this record. She should have released Zombie Boy as a song. That was a good song. I was like, Shadow of a Man. I mean, that was a cute one too. Wasn't that also in The Devil Wears Prada? I'm trying to remember if I remember hearing that in there. She could have been finding other ways to like hype up the album, but it was like once the Dead Dance came out, you spent more time trying to hype up that song, and that song was just not good. Even though it got nominated for an Emmy, but I get it why it was nominated for Emmy because it's TV, Wednesday, Gaga. That's the reason why they're nominated. Not because it's a good song and it's worth winning an Emmy, but because of all the political bells and whistles that goes with that song. So we see through all the pomp and circumstance of it all. But the reality is that she dropped the ball on the album. And I felt like she sold the record more on the tour. And to really think about it, Mayhem is not a cohesive record like the other, like Confessions 2. Confessions 2 was a fully realized, laid out blueprint of an album. Like they set out for each song is deliberate. They had a whole plan regarding putting this record together. They wasn't just like, oh, let's just record a song and oh, that sounds good. Let's put that on the record. Oh, that sounds good. Like it was everything was fully realized. Everything was based on like vibe and moment and creativity, sheer creativity. Everybody had to be in the room. So Lamb basically saying it was using grind. I know what I remember. I was like, look, please, that person know what the hell they talking about. And it's like, multiple vinyls. Taylor Swift was the queen of fucking variants. How many variants that bitch put out over the years with her music? So because Madonna's doing this a problem, they all do it. So let's not act brand new. Trying to expose women for who they slept with is played out to me. Everyone grown, but the husband's brother part is. Yeah, that's the messy part too. Is just the fact that okay, this is getting old with all these stupid cheating out. Like it's like a tight ass soap opera. But like he said, maybe Mimi should have followed Madonna's footprints and made a Christmas album with Anderson .Paak instead of Here for It All. Where's the lie? Yeah, just focus on the thing that actually people want from you, which is you are the queen of Christmas. Madonna is the queen of the dance floor. People, I mean, we supported all the other side projects she did, the Madam X's, the Rebel Hearts, the Hard Candies, and everything in between all of them albums. But what people wanted, we wanted more confessions or more stuff like that. So we wanted Madonna to stay on the dance floor because we knew that was that was where you came up. And when she started doing all these other things, we like when you jump into different genres, but Confessions 2 is her most cohesive and her strongest body of work in years. That says something. Gaga was trying to go back to the thing that catapulted her career, but I feel like you weren't in the full pocket of it. It's like you were trying to chase the trend. You were trying to chase the sound. If you really want to go back and chase the sound, you got to get right with Red One. Like if you really want those beats or you want that feeling again. It's kind of like with Madonna. She knew that in order for her to get that exact thing that she was looking for I won't say exact thing because Confessions 2, it has those elements of the first Confessions, but there's more layers to it. There's much more to it. It's more maturity. It's more grown. It's different aspects of dance music. It's more a house than Confessions. Confessions 1 was more disco oriented. She got back with Stewart. Gaga's gonna have to get back with Red One if she wanted to get those hits back. And like I said, when I worked her Mayhem Ball, the people were people like Abracadabra, people was living in all those other things when she opened up with. Well, actually, she opened up with Damn, why can't I remember the name of the song? But anyway, Abracadabra is literally the second song that she goes into. And people were resonating with the classics and Abracadabra versus the newer songs. I did notice when it came to a couple of the newer songs, people was going to the bathroom. So, or getting more drinks and things. So I was just in Atlanta and all I see is beautiful boss black women. Roa don't show that. Yeah, of course not, because you can't. And I think maybe the reality is you can't get a lot of those people to do the shows. You're not going to get the real elites to do a Real Housewives of Atlanta. You got to get the posers, the people that want to be those ladies that you mentioned. Anyway, okay, so let's go from Atlanta to New Jersey. And let's talk about Milania Giudice. So we're starting to find out a little more tea in regarding to what may have transpired over there with that Milania assault situation that transpired, I believe, last month when it all went down. But anyway, let's get into the story because I was trying to refresh my memory. So, Milania Giudice allegedly punched someone with the initials LR in the face before her arrest for simple assault. The 20-year-old daughter of Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Giudice appeared virtually in Montville Township Municipal Court on Tuesday, during which the judge alleged that she did knowingly use bodily injury to another, specifically by striking the victim LR in the head with her fist, causing redness to the middle of the victim's forehead during a DD, domestic dispute, in violation of a disorderly person's offense. Milania looked solemn as she sat beside her attorney, Alan Kreminski, who spoke on her behalf. Well, they told her she had to put on that face because you don't want to go to jail. Now, I want to sit here and act like I'm a rocket science in this whole situation. But when you say somebody's name is LR with the initials and y'all purposely not admitting the gender of the person, why do I feel like, and I'm just taking a wild guess, LR, Louis Ruelas, the new husband of Teresa Giudice, who I know for many seasons we watched The Housewives of New Jersey. People don't particularly care for Louis. They feel like he's an opportunist. They feel like he can be very manipulative. And Teresa walks around with rose-colored glasses, and that's why she can't stand Margaret, because Margaret was always trying to bring up stuff about Louis and always felt like she was trying to sabotage her marriage and how you're messing up my love bubble and all that crap. And Milania is somebody who's got a short temper. We've seen her many times on the show when she be out there, wrestling and fighting. She got tomboyish ways about her, and we got this picture of her with the finger, the hand wraps on, which you use if you're either boxing or kickboxing. When I used to train for UFC, I used to do a lot of the boxing and the kickboxing and all that stuff. So it's been so long, I forgot how to wrap my hands, but basically said that she had her hair slicked back and a face full of makeup, because Jersey, they stay wearing more makeup than a damn drag queen. Milania answered the judge's basic questions as she was arraigned. He ordered her back to court for a hearing in August and notified her that if she is found guilty, her sentence could include up to 6 months in jail, probation, and fines of more than $500. Milania was arrested for DV at her mom and stepdad Louis Ruelas' Montville, New Jersey home on May 14th. According to the Montville Police Department arrest report, Milania was throwing food and candles during the DV dispute. Teresa's other daughter, Gabriella Giudice, who was identified as the reporting party, called 911 just before 6:15 p.m. and said her sister was acting erratically. The report also stated that no weapons were involved and no injuries were reported. Milania was ultimately placed under arrest with double-locked handcuffs and charged with one count of simple assault. Montville Municipal Court records show that she was entered a not guilty plea. Now, though she has not publicly addressed what preceded her arrest, the University of Tampa student did break her silence on the matter in a June 29 TikTok and began the video by blasting an alleged fake mugshot of her circulating online, which she insisted was AI, and said, "I ate down in my mugshot. I look fire. I mean, nothing to be proud of, but I made sure of that," mocking those who believed that it was real. She also went on to say, "It is what it is. Shit happens in life. It is what it is. You got to learn from it and just become a better person and talk about it." She also explained that she was not in a good area in her life at the time of the incident. And she said, "That happens. I've been through a lot in life, and some other stuff happened to me." She told her followers, "Just because you guys think you know everything that happens in my life, you just really don't." Well, I hope that whatever anger issues and things that you got going on, that you work that out with your therapist. I mean, your mother got a lot of money. She a big old reality star. So have her put your ass in therapy. Figure out whatever issues that you got. Because I don't know if Teresa seemed like the type of person that was like, well, if I'm going through some things that I could really sit down and want to really hash some things out and deal with them. I just don't think that Teresa has the emotional intelligence, and it's no shade. It's just how I see it. I don't think Teresa has the emotional intelligence to handle whatever it is that her daughter is going through. So I definitely think that she needs to see a professional and figure out what's going on with her and get her act right and stay on the straight and narrow. Because with all the things that has happened, particularly growing up in the public eye, being on a reality show because your mother is on a reality show, and your father and your mother going to prison for the not paying the taxes and all the other things that was going on with that. That's, of course, traumatic. Then it was the drama that was going on between Teresa and her brother and them fighting and then being put on the show and all the drama that transpired with that. Now they're allegedly, from what we've seen, in a good place at this point. I don't know if it's for show or if they legitimately worked it out as siblings, and now Teresa loves her brother again and Melissa Gorga. But all of those things that's been going on over the years, you don't realize how that plagues a child and how kids have to deal with a lot of the drama that's going on with the parents. A lot of that trickles down. So childhood trauma and stuff, all of that trickles. So I'm sure that she's had a lot to deal with. So I'm trying to understand and give the benefit of the doubt on one. Oh, she's just a nuisance. Throw her away. Like, we can't be doing that with kids in general. Because kids, people don't realize, go through a lot when you're not even realizing it. People think that as an adult, this is my burden or whatever, but you don't realize a lot of people who are empaths or sensitive, they take on those things without you even realizing it. But some people be in their own little world, they don't see it. So good luck to you, Milania. Hopefully everything works out. I don't think she'll see jail time. But now it's like we entering to find out who it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Louis she put pause on. Because she do go to jail. Then it's like, nah, get my daughter in prison. There might be more fighting between them, but who knows? Maybe because I hear they are filming The Housewives of New Jersey. Maybe we'll find out they'll expand on it and we'll find out who was fighting who. Maybe it'll come out in the show. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this latest tea regarding Milania Giudice appearing before a judge for putting pause on a victim with the initials LR? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh. Hold on a second, why it's not moving up? Maybe we'll have to get back with Jermaine Dupri and Walter, her two best producers. Well, look, apparently, remember, according to Jermaine Dupri, he's owed money from Mariah Carey's catalog or whatever case. Not from her, but from, the label. The Swiftologist said Tate McRae looked like Gia Giudice in the photo she posted of her look from Taylor's wedding, and that made me bust out laughing for 5 minutes. I mean, technically Tatum's from Canada, but if she out there trying to look like a Jersey girl, that is kind of funny. I checked out of Jersey when Teresa's brother came. The family conflict became unbearable to watch. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people kind of felt like that. I mean, yeah, I was watching it because it was juicy and I had no connection to it. But when it became an ongoing thing over the years, I tend to agree that yeah, I just didn't it just became too much and it just became like it's not entertaining to watch. Something tells me her mom getting remarried was an act of betrayal and that she feels like they should have moved and stayed together as a family. This is a story of betrayal. Okay, Madonna. But here's the thing. Apparently, she was going through it with Joe. Joe was allegedly probably out there, I believe, cheating. Look, he even called her a "see you next Tuesday" on a hot mic, and Teresa excused it. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and then with him getting deported, I forgot to bring that up too. With Joe Giudice, Juicy Joe getting deported and everything, because when he went to federal prison, he's also illegal. He got in the country illegally. So yes, it's not just Mexicans and stuff that getting illegal. Italians do it too. So, anybody that ain't born in this country, a lot of them been sneaking up in here, but nobody said anything because it was a white man, right? On the topic, are you aware that there's a grunge song in the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100 right now, Freaking Out by Dexter and the Moon Rocks? No signs of a grunge revival, though, just the power of TikTok. Well, I don't think grunge will make a comeback. I do feel like some people will take that sound and it'll probably be elevated. So I could see that maybe it'll come back in that sense. But no, I'm not aware of that. It's a new grunge song to release 2026. So maybe grunge will come back and, things are cyclical, as they say. But anyway, okay, so y'all, so we down to our final four topics. So before we get to those final four, please hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification button, hype the show, do all the things that help push the show out there in that good old algorithm. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, speaking of family dynamics, let's talk about Brangelina. So apparently, it looks like Angelina's getting what she wants. She got them kids to turn against Brad Pitt because now she got two more of the kids. Because I believe that I can't remember the other. Which one was it? Shiloh that might have removed the name, but Zahara and Maddox, two kids that ain't biologically his, no shade, have removed Pitt from their last name. So I guess they're gonna go by Jolie. Maddox Jolie, even though I don't even think that's her last name, because John Voight is her father. But anyway, according to court documents obtained by Page Six, both siblings published notices of their name change petitions in the LA Daily Journal for 4 consecutive weeks, a requirement under California law before a judge can approve the request. Because I was about to say now, first of all, if y'all want to remove the name. But why do y'all have to put it and publish it in a newspaper for weeks? That's a part of California law. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's to change your name. You have to advertise it. The records show that 21-year-old Zahara's petition was published on June 16th. Oh, she did it for Juneteenth, June 23rd, June 30th, and July 7th. The notices also state that anyone who wants to challenge the name change must file a written objection before the final hearing. Well, Brad, you need to start filing an objection. But to me, it just seems like, I don't know, I'm kind of mad at Brad because I feel like whatever issue that you have with Angelina, and we know she a petty ass bitch, no shade, but we know she petty because she's done weird shit in the past. She wore her brother's blood in a vial. She was out there making out with Billy Bob Thornton on the red carpet, which was lit. Then it was like she was making out with her brother at one point. It was looking a little incestuous. Then you was out here laying alone and spreading it wide with a married man. So y'all are at fault with that situation. Brad was out here allegedly cheating. Well, yeah, allegedly. Is it alleged at this point? Cheated on Jennifer Aniston with this lady. Because y'all was working on Mr. and Mrs. Smith together. And who knows, maybe it was Jennifer wasn't ready to start a family, but you kind of had that with Angelina, and whatever happened between y'all, now it just got ugly and it got nasty. And maybe he was trying to go through Angelina to still have a communication with the kid, because we already know the Chateau Miraval thing. There's still messiness going on with that. That's the winery. They're still having it's still messy in regards to how they going to divide that. So we know from a lot of ways that it seems like Angelina likes to hold a damn grudge. Like, we still gonna call people. I don't care how holistic you are and how many charities and things you try to do for the people of the world. This whole thing where it just feels like you're bringing the kids between whatever y'all mess is unfortunate. That maybe she's in the head, your father don't want nothing to do with y'all. He don't like y'all. He fuck y'all kids. Like, that's basically what your father is giving. Well, maybe that's not what Brad's giving. Maybe because of the incident, because remember, I believe they were on a private plane and Maddox was getting out of line and Brad disciplined him and they accused him of being an alcoholic and a whole bunch of other stuff. And maybe he was at the time. He was out of line. But you handle that. You apologize. You move on. But there seemed to be like a lot of grudges and stuff there. And maybe from Brad's standpoint, he thought by keeping a distance that was going to help the situation. That doesn't help a situation, because kids, when you start to like remove yourself from a situation, that starts abandonment. That causes abandonment situations. And so they probably out here thinking they father don't love them. Plus, on top of that, you know how a lot of these women are when they mad at the husbands. Your father ain't shit. He ain't ever gonna be shit. He just be doing this, and this, and it's not true. And there be men out here trying to fight for their kids' love with no money, and they can't get access to their kids. But Brad, you got a lot of money. You rich. You're a rich actor. You could have been out here doing what you got to do, going above her head, because if you're trying to go through her to get to them kids, and she over here ignoring your phone calls and all this other stuff and manipulating and chirping in their ear and telling them stuff, you should have been going above and beyond. Get a lawyer as your middleman. Going above and beyond. I would move heaven and earth if I had children and I was going through it with my significant other, and it was in the marriage, the divorce was ugly. If I love my children and I want to be around them, I'm going to fight move heaven and earth to be involved with my kids. Ain't no bitch coming between me and my children. I don't give a good goddamn who it is. But it just seems like you kind of just distance yourself and you don't fuck with none of them kids, your biologicals and the adopted. So how am I as a child supposed to feel when my father don't want to partake in my life in this way? I'm feeling like you don't love me. You don't love me. Y'all know that reference from Drag Race. So yeah, then I would get like, okay, so if you don't love me or whatever the case is, I'm gonna just remove the last name. So now Brandon moved on with Inez de Ramon. And who knows if they're going to have kids. I mean, she's young enough. And you know how these older men are. The sperm be working. The young eggs is fertile. They go off and they start a new family. You see Brian McKnight's shady ass went and did that. And try to act like his previous family don't exist. I hope you're not the white equivalent of Brian McKnight. I really hope it's not that situation. So it said that the judge is scheduled to review Zahara's request on September 28th. If no one objects, the court can approve her petition. Last month, Zahara officially filed to change her name to Zahara Jolie, from Zahara Jolie Pitt to Zahara Jolie. She also appeared to signal the change during her graduation from Spelman College in May, where she was introduced as Zahara Marley Jolie while accepting her diploma. Now, Maddox, who's 24, followed a similar process. His court filings were published by the LA Daily Journal on June 10th, June 17th, June 24th, and July 1st. He filed paperwork in May asking to legally change his name to Maddox Siobhan Jolie Pitt from Maddox Siobhan. Siobhan, you black? Maddox Siobhan Jolie Pitt to Maddox Siobhan Jolie. And he's Cambodian, by the way, citing personal reasons for the request. The name change isn't entirely new. Earlier this year, Maddox dropped Pitt from the credits for his work on his mom's film Couture. Oh, a Nepo baby. Back and getting apart in a movie. Back in 2021, Us Weekly reported that he had already been using Jolie instead of Pitt on non-legal documents although Angelina Jolie reportedly did not encourage that decision, allegedly. That's what they say. Now, Zahara and Maddox aren't the only Jolie Pitt children to distance themselves from their father's last name. Their daughter, Vivian, was credited as Vivian Jolie in the playbill for Broadway's The Outsiders, which she worked on alongside her mother in 2024. Shiloh became the first sibling to legally remove Pitt from her name after filing for the change on her 18th birthday. At the time, Entertainment Tonight reported that she hired and paid for her own attorney to handle the process. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt share 6 kids together: Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, Knox, and Vivian. And Pax, wasn't that the one that was out here riding scooters erratically in the street and allegedly wound up in the hospital? So something's going on with these kids. And I do feel like that there's a lot of maybe some child abandonment stuff that's going on because of the lack of a father in the household. I'm not saying that single mothers can't raise a kid, because there's many of single mothers I know that's out here raising children to the best of their ability. However, when that second parent isn't in the picture, a lot of times people feel like there's a sense of abandonment. And when you are the children of 2 of the most high-profile A-list celebrities on the planet, I can totally understand the drama conflama that comes with all of that. So this is sad. Hopefully they work all this stuff out, but it just seems like Brad hasn't made the effort to maintain any kind of a relationship with his kids. But they did say this. They said Pax still maintains a close relationship with members of his father's extended family, even though he doesn't have much of a relationship with Brad. So it seems like, in a way, and this is from page 6, by the way, so it seems like that they probably do see maybe Brad's parents or whatever. I mean, I don't know if both his parents are alive or one of them or whatever, but it seems like the kids that maintain relationships with people within the Pitt household family, but not Brad. And that's unfortunate. I feel like, Brad, you need to make this right. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Angelina, you did lay alone and spread it wide with that lady, and you wound up having kids. And y'all got to realize, when y'all go and get in these relationships with these people, once you have children with them, it's forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. Yes, forever. So suck it up, buttercup, and deal with your responsibilities. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Brad Pitt's kids? 2 out of the 6. Well, actually, I should say 3 out of 6, because you already know one of them already changed their last name. Now we have Zahara and Maddox are the next in line to remove Pitt from their last name. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I feel about Pitt that he didn't want to adopt all the kids like Guy Ritchie, which led to the end of the marriage of Madonna and Guy. Well, here's the thing. You should already know that if you spread your legs and you had your biological children, and when you got in a relationship with Angelina, she already had adopted some children, that is a package deal. So if I'm going to get in a relationship, you either accept all the kids or you don't accept me at all. Brad ain't interested in them kids, clearly. And I know a family where the father said his biological kids can see him, but the adopted one stays home. Guess what happened? All the kids chose their brother and said, it's all of us or nothing. Absolutely. So you can't sit up here and be like, well, them other kids ain't my kids. I was only, accepting Maddox and Pax and Zahara because I was trying to get some good coochie. And I was hypnotized by the good Angelina Jolie coochie. And now that we ain't together no more, it's like, fuck them kids. I do agree. It's like, no, I'm not going to sit and dismiss my other siblings. Yeah, we may not be blood technically, but they are my brothers and my sisters. And if you can't accept all of us, then fuck you then. I don't want nothing to do with you. But anyway, let's get into this next topic. And let's talk about Hudson Williams, who seems to be struggling with the downside of fame, because apparently he went off on some people that apparently were following him to his apartment in Paris. I guess was he out there for Fashion Week or something or another? But anyway, we have the video courtesy of page 6. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, hold on. Where is the the story. So yeah, so he confronted a group of autograph seekers after they allegedly followed him to his temporary residence in Paris, telling them that they were being really creepy and insisting they leave him alone. I was going to say, I should have said, leave Hudson alone. So, yeah, Hudson Williams told off a group of autograph hounds who followed him to a private residence in Paris for his signature. The confrontation was captured in a now viral video shared on social media on Monday. So, yeah, this is the video. We're going to play the video, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk. Please hold.
Sorry, Hudson.
No, sorry, leave.
Yeah, no problem. Just my picture. I am Lee. You promise I'm not... Il devient fou le mec.
Oh, he's a smoker too. That's why he got that lighter. Child is not light. And they laughing. Y'all not real fans. Y'all was up in there trolling him.
Il devient ouf le mec. It's not okay, Hudson.
And you still following him.
Porsha, thank you very much. Sorry to follow you. Sorry to follow you.
She said,
sorry to follow you. Hudson. Sorry.
Shoot. Oh, why y'all keep saying sorry and y'all keep doing it?
He's gonna follow me on a bike.
Sorry to follow you, Hudson. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. Go home. Sorry to follow you. It's okay, guys. Hudson, sorry. Sorry to follow you. Sorry. Sorry, Hudson. Sorry. You promised.
All right. So y'all apologize like 8 million damn times already. We heard you. So you don't have to keep going on and on and on. But based on seeing that video, I will say this. First of all, if you notice in that folder, they had multiple photos of him. So clearly, y'all were not fans. Y'all were trying to get a bunch of autographs so you could probably sell that shit on eBay. And on top of that, one of the other guys was getting mad and getting aggressive. And it's just like, first of all, I don't know y'all from a can of paint. You can't be out here following people willy-nilly for autograph just because you see them on the street. Now, if I'm leaving an event or whatever the case is, yeah, those are the times that you could sign autographs and take pictures or whatever the case is. I'm literally coming in. I'm going to my apartment. I'm tired. A lot of celebrities, they're empaths. They put up with a lot of shit. You probably caught him when he was at his wit's end and tired of the foolishness. And a lot of people out here, like these days, we've been hearing stories about celebrities being stalked. We've had stories in the past of celebrities being unalived by crazy fans. Wasn't there a singer that was shot by another man and killed? I think she was on The Voice. Who, he was, a fan or whatever the case, took her life. John Lennon was killed by a fan. Like we heard Dominique Dunn, daughter, she was unalived by her boyfriend. That's something different. That wasn't a fan. But we've heard so many stories over the years of, celebrities needing protection. And so, Hudson, you at a point where maybe you need to get you a damn bodyguard. Because the girls going around doing that ain't enough. Like, you can't have these girls out here fighting your battles. And you walking around your little crop top getting mad over these people basically following you out here in these streets. So I totally understand where he's coming from in this situation. So I don't understand why, and that's why I was like, when Felix was in the comments and posted something, I didn't agree with him where he basically said, well, you signed up for this. I think to an extent, people know that all of this comes with the territory. And you don't see Francois Arnault did lay down the gauntlet when it came to boundaries and things of that nature, because he even came out and said some stuff. I don't know if Connor's stories necessarily come out and say anything, but I don't think Connor is getting a lot of, harassment and stuff like Hudson is. I haven't been paying attention enough to even know if that's what he's dealing with. But I have been noticing Hudson Williams seems like he's getting more of the harassment than anybody else. But yeah, that was funny. He was trying to like them pictures with a lot of sudden. Those are real professional photographs or whatever. Those shits ain't going up in no flames. Then he said he was gonna burn it at home. Now leave and you're being effing demented and all this other stuff. Now, one supportive fan commented on the video saying being a celebrity doesn't erase your right to privacy. Stop normalizing stalking and call it what it is. Let people live. Another fan commented, I feel so bad for him. He's being treated like a zoo animal. He deserves to walk around freely without being harassed. So he's just been, I mean, it's just a slippery slope that people just be going through the things they go through. It doesn't give you autonomy over, space. It's like boundaries. But I do think that you kind of, you were doing too much though, Hudson. But then again, I guess on the other side, you can't poke the bear and tell him how mad to get. Another person said, in no way went berserk, was harassed and kept his composure. Another person said, this video has been edited. The first part of the video, Hudson talks to them and explains that he is really uncomfortable that they are following him to his home. He knows that they are not fans, they are paparazzi and autograph hunters. Didn't I say that? And that was based on that little clip I saw. I said, if you notice, when the lady handed him the folder, when the thing opened, it was a bunch of photos of him in there. So no, y'all are autograph hounds. Y'all were trying to get his signature so you could probably replicate it and sell it. So you weren't really his fans. And then that other guy spazzed. I was like, bitch, calm the fuck down. But then if I was him and I punch him in the face, then all of a sudden y'all be doing that because y'all want to sue me because he harassed me, lawsuit. A lot of them, they provoke celebrities so they can get you there and they can make the money. I don't know why I couldn't think of that guy, the one that was talking about earlier, that the politician with the meth, Andrew Gillum. That's what I was thinking about. Now it comes to me like a couple of topics later. But anyway, yeah, so they said that I am disgusted by these people. If they had followed me from one location to the other, I would be terrified. Hudson's boundaries have been crossed. He's legitimately upset about being harassed. The paparazzi behavior is completely unacceptable. Shame on them. Well, look, this is a new kind of paparazzi because they was not doing that back in the day. Now it's all about, back in the day, the paparazzi, they just be out there snapping cameras in your damn face all day. Now it's like, just sign my papers, sign my papers. One person, I saw the full video this morning. Hudson tried to ask him to stop following him in a normal voice. They have cut that out. They still followed him after that, making out he was going berserk. He was not. So then another person said, Page 6 really needs to get some emails about this. I normally don't condone harassment, but this is bad. They could get sued for this, especially if it's been edited. Well, you already know what type of rag Page 6 is. They're right wing. And people are going to always, and I'm glad that people posted in the comments that it didn't just get to 100, that he was calm at first, and then they was harassing him to the point where he raised his voice. And you already know, if you show the whole video, that's not going to get people to actually, it's a non-story. It's not going to get people riled up. It's not going to get people to react. You want to get him to the place where he's popping off. But people always forget the part, you can't start the conversation in the middle. What caused him to pop off? Because I'm the same way. I don't just pop off for the sake of popping off. There's a reason. You got to take me to a certain point for me to lose my damn mind, for me to start going off. I don't just pop off for no damn reason. There's always a reason why I react the way I react. So I'm glad that people were in the comments basically putting out what really happened instead of just saying like this thing. But you already know I was able to pick up what they didn't show. I was able to catch it in the video. But I just hope that Hudson learns how to navigate this thing called fame a little better. And I think that y'all need to be a little mindful when it comes to celebrities on just don't be out here harassing people and trying to get up under their skin for some damn clout. So I say all this to say, in a damn tired-ass autograph, what do you guys think about this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. How bad is this compared to Britney? Britney had it worse. Genuinely interested in asking someone who was there. Britney had it way worse. I actually, funny enough, when Suju asked it literally took me back to the times of when I would see the way that the press harassed her. There were points where it was so much paparazzi and so many people taking her pictures, she couldn't even move to get from point A to point B. That's how bad it was. In that situation, it was like 3 dudes standing there trying to get an autograph from Hudson. That ain't, still following somebody to a place, that's just as bad. But it was people in cars, riding, like damn near trying to careen you off the road. Like it was the Wild West back in the 2000s. It was really bad back then. So I could totally imagine. So I was like, when you said who had it way worse, she had it way worse. The paparazzi ain't as bad. I mean, they still harassing, but it wasn't as bad as it was back then. Maybe because it's different because we've got cameras and phones and social media wasn't what it was back then. And you said Christina Grimmie. Yep, Christina Grimmie, that was her name, the one that got unalived by the fan. Our friend to the show also said, not our friend to the show, also said, wait, how'd you see that? Wait, you in the group chat too? Is that our friend to the show also says something similar about Chapel. You signed up for this. Both of them are clearly fed up with the downsides of fame that bring them to these embarrassment. Because he did say that in the comments, unless he said that somewhere else. Hudson is definitely getting wrongfully damned for this. Those guys were just too aggressive and obviously mentally unwell because only a crazy person apologizes. But that's why I said, why are you still following him? Because you like, I'm sorry, Hostin, you know, however the fuck they said it in that accent. And I'm like, but you still following him. You know, when you apologize, you're supposed to walk the other way. Go get your little pictures off the floor. Exit stage left. Why are you still going the direction of the man? Because now I'm going to have to fuck you up. But then I said, that's where they want to get you because then you get more money from the physical altercation versus your little photographs of Hudson Williams. I'm not helping you. I'm not going to pay your bills by you trying to bait me. Hudson also seems to be a bit of a bullseye for online hate because he's Asian, he's bisexual, he's corny. He's corny. He got pounded on national TV. He's not the most good-looking guy. The German soldier stuff. Yeah, there's a sexiness to him. I mean, when you look at Kind of Story is actually hotter. Speaking of which, I saw that there's a video a movie with Kind of Story on Tubi. I gotta look it up. It's another gay movie he was in before he did Heat of Rivalry. He had much longer hair. And I'm looking at the trailer because I was like seeing what the movie was about. And I'm like, is that Kind of Story? And then I read the credits and it was him. But he had much longer hair. He had like shoulder-length blonde hair. With all that being said, Hudson still seems like a turd, and Chapel is one underperforming lead single away from being a memory from the middle of the 2020s. And that's the worst part, is that she can't even make mistakes and stuff and navigate through her career. Whereas my generation, we were lucky enough that we could do that because social media wasn't what it was back then. Oh, is that what I said? I didn't know I brought up Chapel Rome. You told us what he said. You know, sometimes I be saying so much stuff, I be forgetting I said it as soon as I said it. But I know I said the Chapel Rome part. But anyway, okay, so we got to get some more drama now. Let's talk about Drag Race. So Accuser C. Davenport and Silky Davenport, this drama is still continuing. So yesterday I left y'all off with the fact that Silky apologized to Bob the Drag Queen for calling her Oreo while she did an interview on Outlaws with T.S. Madison. And then I also followed that up with that one of the beefs I don't think is ever going to be recovering, or another relation, or I should say a relationship that will never be salvaged, is Silky Nutmeg Ganache and Accuser C. Davenport's friendship. Because apparently there was some drama that transpired between them over a TV and this, that, and the other. And then I told y'all that she ended up doing Mistress Isabel Brooks's podcast. Well, child, I watched it. And so did Accuser, because I do have Accuser's clapback and rebuttal and what had happened. We're going to get to that in a second. But let me actually refresh you all's memory on all of this in case it is hard to keep up, because it has taken a nasty turn. So, I didn't even know the girls was fighting until I watched Drag Race All Stars 11. And then I started watching Roscoe's and all this other tit for tat back and forth, and this was happening. And I'm like, wait, I didn't even know there was a beef. And then, of course, as the episodes progressed, we were starting to find out that Akira and Silky were not getting along. And you can't sit up there and tell me that people behind the scenes weren't aware of this, because why else would y'all make sure that Silky and them and Akira made it all the way into the semifinals so y'all can get that beef to transpire over into the show, which has not happened yet. I'm not even sure if it'll happen in the grand finale, but it's already playing out on social media. So who needs a TV show when we all getting it live in 4K? So they said that the beef stemmed from a TV, which Akira publicly accused Silky of stealing. So when Silky did go on Mistress's show, she did address the whole TV situation. She said it was only one TV and not two. And apparently, according to Akira, she did throw one of her, that Silky did throw one of her TVs out. And then Silky was saying that the boyfriend that she was dating at the time wanted to throw the TV out because her stuff was sitting up in the garage. So to get to the whole All-Stars 11, but not All-Stars 11 situation. So to get to the Mistress Isabel Brooks situation, Silky appeared on her YouTube channel on July 13th, which was yesterday, and said the nail in the coffin for me is, and this is what a lot of people do not know, is that Akira sued me for $900. She said she was served at her home. At this point, I had stolen a TV and a sewing machine. This lawsuit was filed a couple of days after we got back from All Stars filming after the merge. So what had happened was she explained on the show that Akira was going through some hard times, that she basically was like, you could stay at my house in Houston. I believe she had just bought a house out in Houston, Texas. And Akira stayed with her. She said that her mortgage, and I'm like, damn, I might need to move to Texas. Her monthly mortgage was, I believe she said $3,700. I'm like, that's it? Shit, if I could give me a big ass house with 4 bedrooms, and that's what she said she got, and she turned one of them, the room that Akira was sleeping in, into a studio, trust and believe, I would get me a house in Texas, but I ain't trying to move out there. Texas got too many situations going on right now. I'm staying in the sanctuary state, and that's New York. So until things get better out there, maybe I'll buy a big ass house. But anyway, so she was staying there. She said that she was only supposed to stay there for 90 days. She ended up staying there for 9 months. And then Silky kept asking her, okay, so when are you going to move out? And this, that, and the other. And she said she was trying to find a house, and then she ended up settling for an apartment. And seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication between the two. Silky ended up going, I think, on some work trips or whatever the case was. And when she said, oh, she'll be gone by the time she comes back, but when Silky got back, Akira was still there. And when Akira finally moved out, they kept trying to find a time of, okay, so when are you going to come over and get your stuff? Which she said that she had moved to the garage. And Akira would give her a date. Every time the date came up, Akira never showed up. Then it gets down to the whole court case situation. So when she finally came to get her stuff, there was a little animosity between them. A little drama, like a little tension. They didn't talk it out. But because I think that when Silky had said that Akira hit her up or whatever the case was, she was going away to visit her family for Juneteenth. She said when she gets back, they could meet up, this and the other. Akira didn't show up. So a lot of times if she was setting up things, Akira was not showing up. And she said all this in the thing. Then of course, Mistress was asserting herself and I would have slapped the shit out of her. I would have did. It's like, girl, why are you even trying to do all of this? Like, you are secretly liking all this drama. And then when Akira finally told her side of the story, then Mistress goes and says online, oh, so now I realize that after finding out all the evidence, and I'm gonna play y'all the clip of, and it's a long one, of Akira giving her side of the story. Then she goes and says, oh, now I realize there's 2 sides to every story. Well, you dumb bitch. Of course there's 2 sides to every story. Well, not necessarily 2 sides. There's 3 sides. There's her side, there's Akira's side, there's Silky's side, and there's truth somewhere in the middle. And so for you to sit there and quickly take a side of somebody and be saying that, yeah, you wanted to have Accuser on the show, but Accuser is like, no, you're messy and I don't want to be on your show. Then you decided, oh, I'm going to get Silky. And then you trying to bait her in a lot of situations. And shout out to Silky for taking the high road in a lot of situations. She was there to tell her truth. She was there to tell her side of the story. She wasn't doing all that extra stuff that Mistress was trying to do to zhuzh up the thing, add a little seasoning to the gumbo. You was being a little too extra in that situation where you didn't need to be. And funny enough, I didn't even know all of them was Davenports. I had no idea that Mistress was a Davenport, and I had no idea that Silky was a Davenport. Child, you think I follow all of them? The only Davenport I know was Honey. So I don't be knowing all the Davenports like that. But anyway, so with all that drama and everything, Mistress did say on social media, I agree, I can't speak shit on you other than a one-sided point of view, which is why I invited you to come on the channel and tell your side. You're still welcome to join us for Mistress Monday. Also, you throwing in that I was reading her and did it like a laugh emoji. I read everyone. Anyways, if you're hashtag Team Accuser, sound off in the comments and let your voice be said. Now, even then, she's trying to milk this for her own personal gain. And so Accuser wound up writing, oh yeah, I should have probably read hers first before I read Mistress' response. She said, Mistress Isabel Brooks and Tagda, you can't speak shit on me other than from one side point of view. You was literally just on my phone reading that lady and begging me to do it on your show, which I declined. Do what you got to do, because I'll be doing the same and save that fake ass ... So, that's what she ended up saying. And I guess what she wanted to do is she's like, look, I'm going to control my own narrative. I'm not going to let y'all come out and try to twist my words or edit me in a certain way to make me look like the villain. I'm going to come out and tell my own side of the story and tell the side of the story she did. So with all that being said, let's get to what Accuser C. Davenport had to say. This is all I could find on Twitter, because I heard that she went on for a good old hour on Instagram, I believe, but here's what she had to say on the drama, because they were like, well, Silky was calm in what she had to say, but Accuser was being all hostile and a little aggressive in her delivery and looked like she was ready to fight, like she was the vixen. So let's play the clip and we'll come back and talk.
Been quiet. I had been hearing stories. I had been hearing you lying about all kind of stuff. You had just went to Roscoe's and told people that I was homeless. Y'all can clearly see that I'm not homeless by far. I've never been homeless. As long as my mom has breath in her body, I always can go back there. That's where I was initially going in the first place. Silky asked me to come over there. Silky asked me to come there. Okay, boom. So as far as the whole court thing, I was frustrated. And I'm not going to lie. I was going to react out of anger at first. My mom told me, no, Pooh, don't do that X, Y, and Z. Cool. Let me just do what I need to do, file a court thing. I filed the court thing. That was before I moved into this place. So anybody know with the court, anytime you file a suit, it takes time. It has to process through the system. At that time, I had just moved into this place here. So the paperwork had went to my old apartment. So that's how I missed the court date, because I never got it because the time had passed.
Oh, so yeah, in case I forgot to mention that Silky ended up going to court and Accuser did not show up. So she felt that, oh, well, all these other times, like you wasn't showing up every time when you would make a date. This is what she pulled in this situation. But Accuser is saying that she didn't get the thing because it went to the old house, which everybody knows when you do something, when you move, you got to constantly change your living address so that way your stuff get there. But who knows, maybe that letter got there before the transition was made of you changing your address, at the post office.
It was already in her house, so it was going to automatically go to her house. Yes, I did send a suit because I couldn't do anything else to her. She had already offered me another TV. So why are you saying that you didn't know that a TV was there, but then you say you have to check with somebody as one excuse, then the next excuse, you tell somebody, well, I'll give you this other TV, which I also have in black and white. And I'm like, well, no, that's not my TV. How are you going to offer me another TV, a smaller TV, that's not even the size of my TV? It was never mainly about the TV. It was about the bullshit that I had been dealing with prior to the TV thing. So yes, I did sue her about a damn TV. Sure did.
The ghetto.
I was frustrated. And so how I attacked was when I made those tweets and lashed out on social media. Yes, that possibly was childish for me. But bitch, out of anger, I reacted. Sure did. But that whole narrative that that's where all of this spun from, no. As you can see through all of this took place prior to me going on Twitter and taking it to social media. That came after we make it to the merge. When I come into the merge, I don't come in even thinking about the bullshit no more. That's why when Jasmine first approached me on it, I wasn't thinking about that. Because again, she was dead to me. Our friendship was dead. It was over. It is what it is. I was perfectly fine. She brought that to the television. So at that point, yes. When I said fuck her, I wasn't crashing out. Bitch, anybody who knows me know I naturally talk fast. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Bitch, I was just saying what I felt. I felt like in this situation, she was fake. From the things you did to me, I guess, to get me out your house without not saying it, that was fake. For you to go to everybody with all these different excuses as to why you put me out and you've yet to come to me, that was fake. If I tried to mend a friendship, at any of those times that I reached out to say, hey, let's sit down. If our friendship was that valuable to you, regardless had I slept with your man, fucked your uncle, whatever that stole money from you, which none of those things I've ever did, as a friend, wouldn't you think the person would come to you and say, well, bitch, this is why we are here, right or wrong? Nothing was ever said to me. Even when we got to the workroom, everybody knows from watching Drag Race, bitch, the workroom ain't no bigger than this. So again, even if it had to be off of camera, I'm thinking, bitch, if you somebody to call me as a friend and you wanted to fix the situation, you would say, hey, girl, X, Y, and Z, boom, 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 boom. So this whole narrative that I talked about your weight loss journey, you see in black and white that I congratulated you on more than one occasion, on 2 occasions. This whole house thing, I went with you to close on it. I was happy for you. We started the journey together. You just finished. I didn't. And I'm okay with that. Everything is not for everybody. The money that I owed you and I borrowed for you because I needed silicone removal, thank you. Told you thank you for that. Paid you that money back. So again, if you had that much of issue with me, what's so hard about coming to me? Why did it even have to be this type of thing right here? You made this a thing. I didn't. Yes, I made those comments, but that was after all of this had transpired. So yes, you're no longer my friend, so bitch, I sent you a lawsuit. Okay? At that time, as you can see, have a brand new TV. I wasn't tripping when I found out that she made it to court and I didn't. Okay, whoop-de-doo. It is what it is. But again, as far as this still going on, that's the thing. Why is this still going on? As far as me posting on Twitter, that's because, again, we're in the workroom when you could have said stuff to me, but you wait to go to those cameras and say stuff. I didn't. I wasn't trying to make a thing. Because for some sick, strange reason, we're going to get past this and be back friends. That's like a woman who leaves her man and dogs him out, and then they're back together months later. I didn't want this to look like that for us. I didn't. So that's why I never took it to social media prior to that. That's why I never did any of those things prior to that. But at that point that we made it to TV, I thought that this was the game that she wanted to play. She wants to spin the narrative like she's the victim. Yes, we've helped each other a lot along the way. But as far as the allegations of me being a bum, that's never been a thing. Allegations of me being on drugs, that's never been a thing. I've never been jealous of her. Because quiet as it's kept, those looks that y'all saw at Continental, that makeup and stuff that y'all saw at Continental, that was all my doing. I never asked for credit for any of that. Because again, when I even went to her about that, I went to her as a friend saying, I know this is your dream. Can I at least put my spin on it to give you some type of revamp so that you can appear a different way? Even when we went to Drag Race the first time, All Stars, I wasn't originally going to go to All Star 6 at first. Silky called me and said she was going. And if you think I'm lying, the first thing I said to her out of my mouth was, hey, bitch. I said, let me tell you, you already know the first things before we even get our runway stuff, you need to start getting stockings, pads, and girdles. I said, because that's the first thing they read you about. If God is my witness, he can take my breath right now. I've never did anything but look out for Silky. I've never did anything malicious to her. That's why the shit hurt. And anytime I used to talk about it, I would almost cry. Because again, I still to this day don't know how we got to this place. I don't know how we got here. And she's yet to face me to tell me how we got here. She's went on interviews. She went to Roscoe's and told them one thing. She went and told, and if you think I'm lying, Kendi Davenport's my witness. I literally just got called in a room by one of the girls when we was at Roscoe's. And the girl stopped me and said, well, Silky came here and she was saying this, that, and the third, dogging you out, boom, 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 boom. Cool, it's expected. But at some point, when do you allow it to die?
Okay, I'll go back. Yes,
when do you dead the shit? If we're done and we've cut ties, why? And you're not going to face me about what it is that I did that put us in this place? Why we just won't cut ties, baby girl? Because that whole narrative of me talking about your weight loss, that came after. So the problem was prior to that. Been quiet.
Yeah, so it pretty much cuts there. But she said that the weight loss shade and stuff came after the fact, which means, okay, so when your feelings was hurt, you really showed how you really felt, which was to fat shame her or whatever the case was. Which, look, at the end of the day, hurt people, so I totally get it. So at this point, I mean, did she even say earlier? I mean, maybe I was hearing then, but did she say that she'd be willing to work things out or whatever, like they were gonna become friends again? But I guess with the whole TV situation, she was like, nah, there's no coming back from this. So I just think at this point, look, it is what it is. Y'all were friends at one point, y'all let stuff come between each other. There seemed to be a miscommunication situation between the both of you. It'd be nice if y'all could have just worked this out amongst each other instead of taking it to social media. I know that there was this back and forth with the texting and this, that, and the other, and one not showing up and this, that, and the other. I don't know. It just seems like overall it's a miscommunication thing. It's sad that your friendship has gotten to this point, or that y'all friendship was great at one point. There was a feud. I don't know if there was a sense of jealousy that was going on. Who knows at this point? It just seems like a lot of back and forth. And I don't feel like we'll even find out the truth. But like I said from the beginning, there's Silky's side, there's a carrier side, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So I guess, if I was a judge, this would be inconclusive at this point. So or it's just petty and it's just dumb and it's sad because like I was saying yesterday, I was like, I can't remember which queen said it, but they were like, the Asian queens don't be having drama like this. The Hispanic queens, they be sticking together. They don't be having drama like that. I'm sure they be out there fighting, but it's always the Black queens that be out here getting the most coverage, the most drama. Is always some back and forth fighting and bickering between them, and it's sad that it's always the Black queens that it seems like is always in this situation. Or the white queens, I guess, they be going through their shit, but we don't be caring. But it's like, the Black queens, they be going through their mess, and there's always good grist for the mill. And it's unfortunate that they always want to see the Black girls fighting, and we got to be better than this. So hopefully y'all work it out, but I don't see that happening. But anyway, with all that being said, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whose side are you on? Are you #team and carry? No, let me stop. We're not gonna do that. This ain't Drag Race Chair. Where we're gonna be like with the #team this, that, and the third. How do you feel about all of this? Whatever your thoughts are on this, drama that's still going on. Every day is something new. Let me know in the comments down below. Mistress is an opportunist, and you know that. I really hope Akira does end up going on Mistress Monday. I tried watching a full 1 hour live while I was cooking and I got bored. Akira is one of my all-time favorite queens, but she was rummaging through printed out text messages, receipts for most. But yeah, it was just like you have receipts and this, that, and the other. But I was saying that before because I saw like she didn't even have all her paperwork together. And I was like, if you're gonna come up in here and you're gonna come with receipts, a lot of y'all need to realize this. And maybe y'all don't do enough commentary or stuff on social media, but why it takes me so long to put a damn show together is because I'm looking for topics. I'm putting notes together so that way I have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed. Sometimes I'll be coming off the dome, and yes, I'll be having my little brain farts, whatever the case is. That comes with the charm and the naturalness of me doing this show. But for the most part, I always try to have my facts, always try to have my information. I have things in a certain order. If y'all gonna go live and y'all gonna be doing these shows and y'all gonna try to act like that y'all are reporters or whatever the case is, and you want to come with receipts, y'all need to rehearse. You need to figure out, make sure you have all your paperwork together so that way when you come off the dome and you start saying things, or even have bullet points at one point where it's like you can look at it and realize like, okay, so I'm going to go from this point to this point to this point to this point. Make sure you got all your papers in a certain order and address certain things that Silky said on Mistress Mondays. You should have been keeping notes in that episode when you was watching. Make those your bullet points, then refer to those bullet points, bring up that receipt with the text message or whatever case was, which she said that she did pay Silky back in full, show that receipt paper. And that's when that's what Mistress said, that now I realize there's two sides to every story. So make sure you got all y'all stuff together before y'all go live, because when y'all be coming across just rummaging through stuff, you got to realize that the audience that's watching, you're going to take them out of the situation. So you always got to find a way to keep them people sticking around with the information. But yeah, child, even through that 8-minute clip that I just showed y'all, I was getting bored. So I don't think we learned anything, really. It said, this is so random. Do you think Akira or any of the other Drag Race queens that appear in Taylor's You Need to Calm Down music video got an invite to the wedding? Not flop era. No, because I don't think Todrick was there. Wasn't he on a cruise ship? Miss Destiny is in the building. You said, I love how you scroll through your phone the whole time. Oh, y'all noticed that? Okay, no shade, but I was actually, and I'll even admit this, I was watching porn too. Like it was like a little porn clip that show. I'm like, damn, that boy got a big old dick. I was scrolling through my phone, yes, a peen thing came up, and I was watching that, but I was scrolling through my phone because there's this video I was trying to upload to my channel, and it's giving me a problem, so I just ended up getting rid of it. They said, I love how you scroll through your phone the whole time the video was playing. I can hear the frustration and hurt in her voice. Silky doesn't want a reconciliation after the lawsuit hit her door. So yeah, now that it got personal and now legalities was brought in the middle, it's hard to come back from that. That was like with me when I wound up getting into it with a friend of mine. I ended up having to spend the weekend in jail and paying a fine and doing community service and having to go before a judge. Oh, our friendship was done after that. I mean, technically it was my fault. I did do the assaulting, but he took me there. Now look at me blaming. Like, well, if you didn't take me there, I wouldn't have had to resort to such things. I owned up to my shit. I paid that $500 fine. Anyway, let's wrap up this show with our final topic, and let's get into some homosexual news. So, wait, let's do it again. Let's get into some homosexual news. I was like, why didn't I hit that note? Because apparently the gays are being erased from, or I should say the Leviticals are being erased from cinema, the big screen and the small screen, because GLAAD did their recent report. And it looks like we're starting to see less and less of the Levitical representation on our big screen and our small screen. I mean, we did have a couple of gay films this year. I mean, I know we got Leviticus, which is supposed to be coming out on VOD soon. But that was a gay movie. But anyway, so the number of Levitical characters in featured films have declined for the third year in a row, according to a new study released by GLAAD. The advocacy organization published the 14th edition of a report that tracks Levitical representation in film. The study is now called Where We Are in Film, after previously being dubbed the Studio Responsibility Index, based on data culled from films released by the 10 largest studio distributors from January 1st to January 31st, 2025. The distributor list includes A24, Amazon, Apple TV, Lionsgate, NBC Universal, Netflix, Paramount, Sony, Disney, and Warner Brothers. Well, soon they're about to be all merging up into one damn thing. Like Paramount already got fucking, well, Skydam's got Paramount. Now you're about to eat up Warner Brothers. But we already heard that. Well, I don't know if y'all heard, but there's a lot of legalities that's starting up, and they have to seal this deal, I believe, by, I think they said next month or October. It's one of those months. If they don't seal this deal, they got to pay out over $1 million, I believe, or $16 million a day. I had to look that story up because, child, I gagged. But anyway, so, of the 225 films released last year, 46 contained Levitical characters, or 20.4%. That marked a dip from 2024, with 59 of the 250 films contained Levitical characters, or 23.6%. It was a third straight drop from the record counted in 2023, where 28.5% of films featured a Levitical character. The number of characters also dropped down from 212 from 181 the year before. Now, GLAAD also reported that there were no Levitical characters in the 19 films categorized as animated/family films, rated PG and under, and no transgender characters featured in the crop of 225 films from the 10 largest studio distributors. Characters of color also decreased 63% from 2024 data. Another significant dip came from bisexual characters. Of the 46 films that featured Levitical characters, 10 films, or 22%, had a bisexual character, down from 2025, the year before. The organization cited horror films as a bright spot for Levitical character inclusion by flagging entries such as I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Parenting, Companions, Weapons, and more. And like I said, you can also add Leviticus. So that's why I always say, like, to me, it seems like the only genre that's really representing queer people, it would happen to be horror, because you can really take chances and experiment and do things in the horror world versus any other genre. And they did have a gay couple in The Companions. I don't think I saw The Parenting. Weapons did have a gay couple. It was Benedict Wong. He had a husband in that movie. It was, what was he, the principal? Now, if the industry doesn't prioritize investing in films with Levitical characters, it risks losing a generation that will go elsewhere to find entertainment that does include our community, warned Sarah Kate Ellis, GLAAD president and CEO. And GLAAD senior director of entertainment research and analysis, Megan Townsend, said Gen Z represents the largest share of moviegoers in North America. Gen Z also has the highest percentage of people who say they are part of the LGBTQ community, with Gallup reporting that more than 1 in 5, 23%, of Americans under the age of 30 are LGBTQ. If studies want to stay relevant with younger audiences and bring in box office dollars, they can't afford to ignore nearly 1/4 of their most enthusiastic ticket buyers. And it does seem like, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like there are more queer people or LGBTQ or Levitical people in Gen Z than any other generation. Or maybe it's because, Gen X weren't really coming out of the closet because of the circumstances and the times. Millennials, not so much. Because, me growing up, I didn't really have that much queer representation on TV. I mean, we had little things here and there. We had Ricky from My So-Called Life, and we had Queer as Folk, and we had like a little spurt in like the early 2000s. But it really wasn't that much queer representation on our TV screens. I mean, if you watched independent films, there was a lot of gay movies like Jeffrey and Trick, and what's another one? Tu Wong Fu. Also, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, The Birdcage. Like, we had little movies here and there. Jeffrey. I mean, did I say Jeffrey? What was the one that the man, the one that the guy, I guess was based on, what was it, like, a teacher coming out of the closet or something. I can't remember the name of it. But there's been so many stuff that's came out. Armistead Maupin's Tales of the City. We've had little things here and there. So but I do agree with this new generation, and yeah, Gen Z, and we already told you there's a rise in Gen Z going to the movies. They don't really care about a lot of the old IPs with the remakes and all that other stuff, but they want to see things like Backrooms and Obsession and this, that, and the other. And this is the perfect time to create queer content because Gen Z will definitely go and support it because they're more open-minded when it comes to LGBTQ representation. So I do think that Hollywood, y'all need to wake up and get on board because if y'all start to try to erase queers from the cinema, it's going to be a problem. Because like I said, Gen X ain't really going to the movies like that unless they taking their kids to the movies. Or maybe their kids is grown right now, so their kids is taking kids to the movies. Because Gen X is like what, in their 50s and late 40s or something or another? So they're the ones that's taking their kids. I mean, they maybe some of them got little kids. Like I know somebody that has but she has a daughter who I think is like 18 or whatever. But she also has a younger daughter. So there are women out there who are in the Gen X era that have younger children. So I'm not going to sit and like try to dismiss all that. And millennials, they're not the big demographic that's really going out into the movies or whatever. Like you're starting to see more of Gen Z go out. I mean, we've covered that story many a times. So, in addition to the report's title change, which aligns with GLAAD's Where We Are in TV study, the organization also evolved its methodology, by assigning characters a category based on narrative significance rather than screen time. The categories include lead, significant supporting, and background. GLAAD has also ditched the grading system, which it previously used while being called the Studio Responsibility Index. So if you want to read the full report, you can head over to GLAAD's website, but it's unfortunate this is what's happening, and you already know why this is happening. It's because of the current regime that we're under, where we have a certain moron in the White House who has been trying to crack down on gay rights and going after trans people. So seeing that kind of representation on TV, it's a dangerous time right now for people. So unfortunately, it's like we got to wait for this shit to blow over with this current regime in order for things to get to back to some sort of normalcy. But Hollywood, at some point, y'all got to grow some goddamn balls and stop being so scared of a fat, funky fuck of a president who can't even remember his ass from his elbow. Worrying about getting retaliated against because there's trans and gay people on our TV screens. Like I said, if you don't want to see gays and trans people, then don't. You can scroll and go watch the next thing. You don't need to watch whatever it is that they're in. But it's unfortunate that this is where we are in this situation where it's just like anybody who was an other and the lack of representation on TV, hopefully it'll change down the road, but it seems like the only way that's going to change is in the horror movie space, who the only ones who got the cojones to really show real representation and real people in a genre of film like horror. So that's all I got on this right now, but I'll definitely keep abreast of this as it develops. What I'm sure we'll probably be talking about this next year, and who knows, maybe the number even go down even more because of what the current situation that we're in. So unfortunately, this is the news that we have regarding the lack of LGBTQ representation in film and TV. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments down below. He said, well, I'm old school. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. Have an issue with both of them, but not everyone is going to like everyone. But that's the tea. Not everyone likes Silky because of her personality. But yeah, and that's the tea. Y'all know that from the show. And it said, is that how your friendship with... No, not him. That was somebody else. At this point, I don't even... No, I'm not talking about Chauncey. That was the issue that no, this is another friend that I got into it. Oh, he was? Well, he lives in New York and he got some type of show. He got some type of show that's coming to I don't even know if I talked about it on the show. But yeah, he's got some new show that he's got coming to Broadway in the fall. Or I think it's off Broadway. Sorry, it took me a minute to write that. You on to the next. Look, not many times people write stuff in the comments, and I'm on to the next topic. I do read it back. And you said, I will tell you this: parents didn't have a problem just because people who report news on conservative felt like speakers of all parents instead of their own opinion. Well, you already know when it comes to conservative media, they have a certain narrative that they have to push. Yeah, we had Queer as Folk and Noah's Ark and all those shows. I watched all of them. The L Word. I wasn't into lesbians, but I supported the lesbian show. It's like I watched the fan edit of Tu Wong Fu and I saw Patrick Swayze and I gagged. You had no idea that was Patrick Swayze that played Vita Bohem in that. You had Patrick Swayze as Vita Bohem. You had Noxeema Jackson was played by Wesley Snipes, and Chichi Rodriguez was played by John Leguizamo. And it was notorious that John Leguizamo and Patrick Swayze butted heads while they were making that movie. And I remember the episode of Oprah when they went on there to promote the movie. That was like, you know what? That was me growing up as a kid, and I was just like so happy to just see any kind of queer representation. It was like anytime that had to do with drag queens or gay people, whatever. It was like any of that representation. It's like, oh yeah, that's me a little bit. So I was sitting, I watched that episode, trying to act like I wasn't interested, but I was all up in it. And then the old legendary episodes of Ricky Lake when they used to have the male strippers on and the drag queens and all that other stuff. Oh, that was a time. And then I remember when Geraldo used to have like the club kids on. He had Amanda Lepore, he would have RuPaul, he would have all of them on the show. Oh, that was before RuPaul was famous. He said if the FCC said DEI do what Disney did, take them to court and sue the administration. Yeah, instead of giving money. And I'm still kind of mad at ABC for giving in the first time with that whole George Stephanopoulos thing. After going to Hillary Duff, I could say our generation are going to concerts and clubs and bars so they don't die. Well, I know today is the official cutoff to like do blockouts of days I don't want to work, but I do know Hillary Duff got 2 nights at the Garden next month. It's going to be crazy busy. We got 2 nights of Hillary Duff. We got Harry Styles. We got. Hold on, let me look at my calendar because. Yeah, we got a bunch of Harry Styles shows. We got Casey Musgrave. Olivia Dean got 4 shows. Mumford and Sons got 3 shows. I don't know who the Red Clay Trays are. J. Cole got 2 shows. Rush got a show. Hillary Duff got 2 shows. And they just added the Jonas Brothers. So it's literally just Disney nostalgia up in the garden. So yeah, they got all that going down, and August about to be busy. Really? Because like after all that, and the camera going to try me again. They said one day Walt will be back, and we will see Pixar announce their first queer character for the 278th time. But look, the movie better be damn good. I haven't watched Too On Food, but I saw another edit where Chi Chi gets in a truck with a very conservative looking fella, and that feels very. That movie was so damn funny. You need to watch that movie. I love that freaking film because it just makes me laugh. The catty lines that's up in there. It is definitely, you will definitely enjoy that movie. Michael Vartan's in that movie too. There are a lot from, if you ever saw that show Alias, he used to date Jennifer Garner back in the day. Played a hit, and there's a scene where he's disrespectful to the women, and Noxeema grabs him by the meat between me down there and drags him over to the women and was like, well, when you see a woman, you say, good evening, ladies. Like that scene is everything. And then you got Stalker Channing being abused by her husband, and she had to find her strength up in her. And the fact that they always feel like Vita always asserts herself in everybody's business. And how what was it? Jeremy London, I think, was in it. Bobby Ray. There was Bobby Lee and it was Bobby Ray. And Chi Chi had a crush on Bobby Ray. And Bobby Lee wanted to get with Bobby Ray. But they was like, you sitting on a secret, sis. You can't get with Bobby Ray, although there are many of Bobby Rays that have no problem getting with a drag queen or a trans woman. But, you know. Well, you said the mom from Oisha said Wesley Snipes made an ugly woman. I mean, but Wesley Snipes in drag was kind of accurate because you would see a lot of black drag queens in New York that kind of had like the muscle on, like they wasn't trying to give you fish. It was like you knew that was a man in a dress, like drag queen down. I'm not saying boy in a dress like how Chi-Chi starts out in the movie and eventually becomes a full-fledged drag queen. But yes, there have been many like it was just accurate of Wesley Snipes in that damn outfit. You know, he wasn't an attractive woman, but he was playing a drag queen, so it was that. John Leguizamo was a hot girl. Gives me the feeling that he hangs with the gays. Well, he's from New York, so John Leguizamo was in the arts and all. So he's from Queens, and who John Leguizamo reminded me of. Well, I mean, there is a Princess Laritza in the movie, but I'm wondering if he was inspired by, and may she rest in peace, Laritza Dumont. Because I used to love me some Laritza Dumont. She used to go, "Whoop shit." She even has a bitch song, a bitch track that goes, "Whoop shit." So, she passed away, and she was like one of my favorite drag queens. I believe she would perform at Esquilita back in the day. She also did. I remember she did Queen's Pride. So yeah, Laritza Dumont, I believe he took after her in a lot of ways. Work one of the Hillary shows to understand how she had the millennials in a chokehold. May Patrick Swayze rest in peace. Ready or not, here comes. Yeah, ready or not, here comes Mama. That's the first line from the movie. And then they play that song "Body Beautiful." Damn, y'all gonna make me want to watch Tu Wong Fu now. But anyway, we are. Oh, you know what I should probably do? Maybe I should do a watch, like damn, I was gonna say Spotify, a Patreon watch of Tu Wong Fu because it's been a minute since I've seen that damn movie. So I might do that. But I got to see what service is on. I'm not watching it if it's on some fucking Tubi because we ain't sitting through no commercials. It got to be on HBO Max. It got to be on Apple. It got to be on one of the channels, Netflix. It got to be one of the ones where there's no damn commercials, so we can watch it through. And of course, I got to get my commentary, so I might do some pausing. But I might actually do it because it's been a minute since I've seen that movie, and I might want to reminisce. But anyway, like RuPaul says this line. With this guy that had like a harness on, was like made of chain. I don't know who he is, but if it's a snowstorm tonight, he's going on my tires. He said it's on Apple TV, and I would love to watch it with you. Yeah, I might have to try to do that sometime soon. Onyx also watched The Birdcage. Robin Williams kills that film. Madonna. Oh yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time too. I might actually watch that on there too. But anyway, so love y'all for watching. We're done with the show. I'll be back on Thursday for a brand new episode because I'm going to be working at the Garden tomorrow. So I forget who's performing, but yeah, I think Bon Jovi's performing again tonight. But anyway, so yeah, I'll be back on Thursday with a brand new episode of the show. Love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. Hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification bell, hype the channel, do all the things to help push this show out in that good old algorithm. At least the show is finally shorter than what it was yesterday because we went over 5 hours. But it's been a minute. I managed to zhuzh it down a bit to 3. It's a change. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.